All right, we're live, and we have the return of Barry.
Oh,
Hey,
that
Barry.
was that exciting. Hey, what's up? What's the link, the live link? I don't see it on your page.
What? You
The
joined?
It's on his page. It's down there.
okay.
I got it.
Let me refresh it.
Who's with the what now? Oh, I suppose I could pull that up too. Then.
There it goes. Yeah.
All right, there we go. And
And
I can be the first person to comment too. Welcome, everyone. Or Wecklome, because I can't type. Ah, too late. Nice
Yeah,
try,
well.
sucker.
Yeah, but at least I spelled my word right.
Yeah. So how's everybody doing? We took last week off because I was ill.
Sick as a dog.
Yeah, I like in the whole house was sick in some way, shape, or form, and then and like it was one of those things where I had a sore throat like the night before, and I was like, sore throat. I get those every once in a while. It's no big deal. And then as the day wore on, it just kind of got worse and worse, and I was like, oh, fine, I'll take some ibuprofen. That'll take care of this, And then it kept getting a little bit worse, and then the fever hit, and then I realized that I was actually in the hurt bag, and it wasn't just being sick. It wasn't just like a little cold or whatever. I had something a little more serious. So then eventually, what happened was, prayed to the porcelain god later, and that whole rigmarole. But yeah,
Did he
then I
heal
just
you?
no,
Was your prayer answered?
whenever I talk about when you get sick, I mean when you get like violently ill, sick or whatever, and you're and it sucks because uh he's a horrible human being, but Cosby was funny, which sucks, So it's like you kind of. But one of my all-time favorite bits that he ever did was he talked about being sick, and his bit was about after drinking all night, and then you drink too much, and then you drink, and then you go and you get sick. But I mean, the thing is that like you get that feeling, like because it was like I was fine. I just didn't feel great. And then like I went to the bathroom to like just go to the bathroom like like a normal human being will go to the bathroom. And then I did one of those big coughs where you go and you kind of like, and then it was like that click happened in the back of my head, like, oh no, that's because like you tense up, when you're gonna expurgate or whatever it is, and so I remember then you get down, and like Cosby said, he said you get down and you put your face somewhere where no one was ever supposed to put their face, and it's just like and you're this is something that you just said you're gonna do this, and then like your whole body locks up when that moment comes, and I always remember his line was, and the first wave hits, and you would not be surprised if you saw your shoes come out of your mouth. And it's like, because you just feel like, and I always loved that line. And unfortunately, it was from a horrible human being. And, so it's like, you have to like, why couldn't you have just been really, really funny and not raped a bunch of women? But
yeah, that would have been much better. It ruined that. I used to listen to it all the time, and now it's like, nope, no desire now.
Yeah, and it's just yeah, and then the bit after that where he said, and then you put your head along the side of the toilet bowl, and it's cold, and it's the best feeling ever, and you're so thankful. You thank the toilet bowl. Thank you, toilet bowl. You were there for me when nobody else was. You were cool on the side when nobody else was. And that's the cool side of the toilet bowl. Yeah, but well, yeah, whatever. Spilt milk and all that. So Anything interesting happened to everybody over the last couple weeks since we haven't gotten together and hashed anything out or talked or anything like that?
I saw Deadpool 2.
I have not yet. I've been meaning to
Yeah,
go,
neither.
but like my wife enjoyed it, the first one, and we both like really liked that first movie. So like it's one of those things where we're waiting for a chance where both of us can go at the same time. So
I went to Deadpool 1 on my own, and the wife had watched it later on Blu-ray, and then liked it enough that she went with me to see the sequel. And she laughed out loud in the theater a lot, and she usually does not do that. And I laughed out loud a lot, and I usually just chuckle to myself. So I thoroughly enjoy it, and I highly recommend it if you like the first one at all.
yeah, I watched. Strangely enough, I watched Deadpool 1 it was one of the many movies that I watched while I was on the airplane flying to Japan. So like that was, or maybe it was when I was flying to Dice Tower Con. I don't know, it was one of the two. But I watched it on the plane. That was the first time I ever watched it, and like I really enjoyed it. And then like it was on HBO, HBO Go or HBO Now or whatever it is, and so I and I told my wife, you'll like this. You want to watch this, and she liked it. So, kick the kids out of the room to watch it, of course. But, highly enjoyable flim, if you will. But yeah, that's one of the few that I'll actually probably go and see in the movie theater. I haven't decided. I'm sure I'll end up going to Solo in the movie theater, though I'm not in any rush to race out and make sure it isn't spoiled for me.
I will probably go see it as well, even though the guy doesn't look like Han Solo.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with it.
Well, like I had lunch with the guy who the blind guy that owns the local game store today. We got together to talk about a few things as far as events coming up that I'm going to help out with, and just one of those like go there and demo games and stuff like that. But anyway, regardless, and so we and he's a giant Star Wars guy, and I asked him, it's like, well, what was your opinion of The Last Jedi? Because I had no idea, and he flat out, this is what he said. He said I'm just avoiding that, he said, because I don't want to interject. How did he say? I don't want to interject my thought process or whatever onto a movie. I don't want to that isn't, people can go and do whatever, and I just want to not be a part of like the whatever, like the process that has happened since then, of like the people that are very much for and very much against it or whatever. Like he doesn't want to be me, and and I said, well, I mean, that's fine. I said, but can I have your opinion? And he said, oh, it was the worst Star Wars movie ever. So he was.
So how does a blind guy watch a movie though? I don't.
Well, he's completely blind in one eye, and in the other eye he has, he's basically got like 2400 vision in the other eye. So he can get around. He can, especially if and he had his most recent surgery did repair, like it got him to a certain point where he can go. But all the places have those headsets, whatever, because like he watches things like, and then it has the descriptive audio. Like, have you ever had a Blu-ray that has descriptive audio on there? So so he gets the headset that has descriptive audio that like describes like everything, as far as
like it says in his ears when it sees Princess Leia out in space and floating back, it tells him in his ear, and you won't believe how stupid this shit is. Is that what it says in his ear?
It says, what the fuck?
It says, what the? This is stupid. I'm not even going to tell you what's going on.
I don't know how I described that to him, but no, he actually, and I don't want to, this is all I'm going to say. He actually made an observation that I had not made about, because we kind of delved into it between the two of us as far as what we thought about it personally, and things we had a problem with and whatever. And I brought up the opening scene where it's like holding for Admiral Hux or whatever.
Yeah, that stupid scene. Yes.
Yeah, that stupid scene. And he actually said, the dumb part about that, he said, is that he actually says this is Commander Poe, Cameron Poe, or holding or whatever. And in The Force Awakens, Hux actually says it's not every day we capture the Rebel Alliance's most best pilot or something like that. So it isn't like they know he's like super important. Why wouldn't they blow him out of the? I don't know. So just yeah. Anyway, so I was like, I totally forgot about that, but he was right, and he was just like, yeah. But anyway,
correct.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Apparently, there's a lot of people that are trying to they're gonna boycott Solo and not gonna go, and admittedly, it's amazing how this is gonna feed into some of my rants later today, but it's amazing how people will use something like Rotten Tomatoes, and they'll use a Rotten Tomatoes score as long as it supports what the agenda that they're trying to put forth. So it's like the planning planning to attend or something like that has dropped below 50% on Solo. So it's like people are actually saying, yeah, I'm not going to go watch this movie. And which, I mean, I will fully agree that most likely is these people that have an agenda against the movie, saying, "Oh, all my fans, make sure you log into Rotten Tomatoes." And because who does that? Who I'm going to go log into Rotten Tomatoes and tell the world I'm not going to go to a movie. It's just that takes a lot of effort to do it. So I will fully agree that is a warped out stat, but people are annoyed enough about the movie and not looking forward to it enough about the movie that they're willing to go that extra step just to make sure that they're not going to go. My one thing that I really hope they don't do is that, okay, so the line is fast ship, yes, fast ship, she's the ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. Okay, so because he doesn't say I flew it at the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs in the ship. He says it's the ship. They're gonna take that away from Solo. It's gonna be somebody else does the.
Lando will do it in the ship, right? Instead of Han doing it, right?
They'll take it away. So they'll murder some small part of the Han Solo mystique, and it's just
God, you're probably right, and it's probably gonna piss me really badly off.
So that's one of the things that I could totally see them doing and ruining that. Which you could do it in some way to make it funny. Take when they showed how they actually showed how Kirk beat the Kobayashi Maru. Mm-hmm. He's chewing on the apple, and it was Spock's test all along, and he's like, fire one photon torpedo at each Romulan ship. That should probably take me enough to take care of him. He's just and he's like, you can't beat the unbeatable. Yeah. So, that was funny. They revisited it and kind of made it into a little bit of a joke, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it won't suck. The reviews right now that are coming back are, it's still 2/3 of the critics are saying it's good, but still, you kind of the initial statement or whatever, who was it? I forget what it was. They said that they would that Solo was going to beat the Black Panther as far as total earnings. Black Panther did really, really well, and was a pretty good movie too. Mm-hmm. So I don't see that happening with this movie. mean, I don't know. I guess it's tough to care about a Star Wars movie anymore. For me,
I miss the days before social media when you could go to a movie and make up your own mind. None of this shit beforehand.
Well, yeah, that's. Well, you can't.
Yeah, so. I know. Well, you can. You just don't look at social media, but.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I mean, how many people have actually seen this movie so far? A couple hundred, maybe.
Well,
it's not out, right?
No, it's not out. It comes out on Friday, right, Keith?
I think so.
Yeah, Friday.
So, I mean, there's that. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the movie will be fine. It'll still have Chewie, and it'll still have, Star Wars and stuff. Did you see the tweet that Hamill sent out on May 9th?
No.
It said, "May the 9th be amazing and not ruin anybody's childhood."
That must be tough for him. He had to promote that movie, even after Disney gave him the cease and desist on what he thought about it.
Yeah, they and then after he got out, he kind of let people know that he thought it was horrible, but
he started to in the beginning, and then Disney stepped in.
Yeah. Well, you don't know that.
I seen the interview.
What? There was an interview where he said they told him to stop?
Oh, no. Not to stop. I mean, how he felt about it. I'm sure Disney told him to stop.
Well, I'm sure they said if you want to have your ghost scenes in episode 9, you better keep your mouth shut. You know what I mean?
Are you complaining about Star Wars again?
Are you complaining about Star Wars again?
No.
We're talking about Solo.
Oh. Yeah, I want to watch that, but I'm probably going to have something more important going on.
Oh, fatherhood. Doing something that every 9 seconds somebody's pulling off right now.
Yeah, well. The baby was we were optimistic it might start yesterday or today, but not yet. So
not yet.
Maybe my kid's waiting for Solo as well.
Maybe.
I don't think it's that important to him, Seth. Just saying.
Maybe he's being nice to Daddy and letting me wait until I see Solo.
If he was nice, he'd wait till after Origins. There you go.
Yeah.
But
too late. I would have to know that. For that to work, I would have to know it. So I just I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I'm going to usurp the conversation.
Of course, because that's what you do.
Well, I figure if you're talking about Solo, that means you're just going to any minute now be crying about Last Jedi. So I was saving everybody the misery.
And there goes the rest of our show.
Damn it. We need
3 hours of Last Jedi bashing.
So I just finished recording with TC Petty another argument hour. That was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so as a preview, this time we're talking about revisiting designers revisiting or reiterating mechanics they have used, or perhaps that they have building on someone else's stuff, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. I feel you.
I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah.
Jeff Gamble actually contacted me and asked me. He wants me to be on an episode of the Longview, and but he actually mentioned that you'd been on his show a few times, he was on a show with you and TC. I forget what it was called, but he said you were an excellent guest. So if you had any worries about whether or not they thought you were any good at what you were saying or doing, it sounds like you did a good job.
Who was that?
Jeff Gamble. Jeff Geoff Gamble, Gambill. I don't know. I have to look at my email. He was on.
And you said we were on it. Wait, I guess I might have brain farted when you were talking. We were on a show together.
He said he mentioned you. Here, I'll pull my email. Jeez, I gotta remind you. You're Mr. Podcast. What you been doing lately?
I've been on a million podcasts recently. I can count them.
All right, let me see here.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 2 argument hours. in
Nobody likes a braggart. Just letting you know.
I'm just saying, I've been trying to promote the 10th anniversary stuff.
It was a great meeting with Seth Jaffe when he was a guest on The Good, The Bored, and The Ugly a few weeks back. He's a fascinating individual with passionate opinions. He's my kind of guy. Make sure you tell him I'd love to have him back on the show. Well, apparently he doesn't even remember you, Joe. So
wait, you said Jeff, not Joe. What?
What?
I'm so confused.
You're so confused. But anyway, yes. So there you go.
Yeah. Joe was fun. That was a good. I liked that one. That was fun. So,
anyway.
All right. So what else are you guys talking about?
Well, we were going to actually talk about. I was actually going to. This has nothing to do with board games, so I was going to bring something up, and I was going to get opinions. But if you want to talk about, if you have a board game related thing you want to talk about before I do something that's totally unrelated to board games, then you can feel free.
Oh, I mean, I like board games.
Hey, I went and played frisbee golf the other day. It isn't like playing frisbee football or whatever it is that you do. But
Ultimate. It's called Ultimate. Yes. Disc golf is different than Ultimate, and they're both fun. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was good. It was one of those things where it was like we went there on a weekend day, and it was nice out, and I don't know, like all the idiots smoking weed on the course was kind of annoying since I had my kids with me, but whatever. It was like, could you be more stereotypical there, Grateful Dead t-shirt guys?
Yeah, it was a old disc golfer smoking weed. That tracks.
No, it was young guys, but all like tie-dye shirts and just running off into the woods, and I'm just like, could you just central casting? We we need some, and I was just kind of like, dude, I don't care what you do. Just, could you not be around my kids? Wow. And it was like, yeah, so that was annoying. But for overall, it was fun. I mean, it kind of stinks that, like, obviously my 6-year-old son can't throw his frisbee as far, so
of course not. So you gotta he just gets to throw it along the side, or you can do what some people do is I think they call it best drive. So everyone drives, and then everyone picks up their disc and goes to wherever the best drive was and goes from there. So if you're playing with people that are better than you or worse than you, it makes it more fun.
Well, yeah, but then I can't be competitive with my wife.
Sure you can. It's it'll be a closer game.
That's true. No, it was good. I mean, it was, we went over to there's actually like there's this really weird store that sells used electronic equipment, used Blu-rays, used video games, and used frisbees. It's just like the weirdest conglomeration of like used crap. And so we went there and got some stuff, and then we were, we also got some like new ones too, because those are the ones that were used are kind of beat up pretty bad.
Yeah, I pretty cheap hobby.
Yeah, I actually knew a guy that was like a professional frisbee golfer, and he and I felt dumb because like he at one point because like the companies would just send him free frisbees all the time, just like sponsorship frisbees, just like
all you have to do is get really good, and then you wouldn't have to buy used frisbees. They'll send you free ones.
Well, yeah. So, but like, and he was like, and he gave me a bunch at one time, and I ended up just throwing them away. He was like, "Oh, here, I got like hundreds of these. I don't even need them anymore." And he was selling them to stoners for like $2-3, where normally they cost like $8. So he was just trying to make money off of them, and then he just gave me a bunch. And I ended up throwing them in the trunk of my car, and then throwing them away eventually because I never used them. Because that was me.
Yeah, and then you had to go buy a new one.
Yeah, and then I hadn't planned ahead for like 18 years later when I'd be like, oh, I should have kept.
Well, those golf discs take up a whole lot of space.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what are they, 8 inches across? So anyway,
who you been talking to? Anybody play anything new recently? I played Anno Domini, which I'm working on a video for right now, which was a war game with some pretty cool minis. And it was a very, 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 very good little war game. It's on Kickstarter right now.
I've not played that. I never heard of that.
No, well, it's kind of off the radar for most people.
Huh.
I went to a board game meetup at a guy's house that I got invited. My old next door neighbor called me up and he was like, "Oh, hey, I got like these friends who are like, big into board games." And and I mentioned that I could, and I was going to have a board game night, and I thought maybe you could come over and like kind of maybe bring some of your games from your collection and play. And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like fun," So I was like, I'll meet you there. And he's like, awesome. And like, he's like, and it's on this day. And so it was like, all right. And so I like, grabbed like Yokohama and Homesteaders and some non-TMG games. And I drove over to his house and like, he's not there. And I was just like, so I called him up and I was like, hey, Joe, I'm at your house. The place is dark. Like his wife and kids weren't even home. And I was like, I thought we were
sounds
playing
like the beginning of To Catch a Predator or something.
Yeah, and it was like I thought that like we were playing, and he's like, oh, we're not playing at my house. We're playing over at my friend's house. And I was like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that. Can I get an address? And he was like, oh, my bad. Here's the address. I was like, all right, sounds good. So then I get to this like random person's house, which strangely enough was like across the street from one of my really good friends, like a guy I played D&D with constantly. Yeah, so it was like, wait a minute, you live like across the street from my buddy Jason, but whatever. So I go up and I knock on the door, thinking my friend Joe will be there, and it's like, no, it's like a house of like five, like this guy's wife comes to the door, invites me in. She's like, oh, hey, are you here for the gaming? I was like, yeah. And I walk in and there's like these 5 guys at the table I've never met before in my life, and I'm like, great. He invited me to and he didn't bother showing up himself. So I'm like with like complete strangers. So I'm like, hey, how's it going? Oh, who are you? They like, oh, good. He didn't even tell them I was coming. This is great. I'm just like, but I thankfully Joe showed up about 20 minutes later, and I was just like, thanks a lot, buddy. It was awesome. But we played. They were more into like we had like 6 people, so it was like you couldn't really play a lot of games because the number. But we played Bohemian Villages, which they liked. We played. You played Bohemian Villages, Seth?
I have not. I've got it right here next to me. I've never played it. Here it is. I'm not lying. I have it right here.
That's good. That's good because it's a TMG game, and you should probably play it. Just say.
Yeah, I actually grabbed it out of my other room because there was a question a couple weeks ago, maybe on BGG about a misprint, and I was like, "Misprint? What's that about?" And I went and checked it out.
There was like the sticker or something that needs to be put on it, but you can work around it so easily. I don't know why people are like, I mean,
because they're confused and they don't know what they don't know how to work around it because they never played.
Misprints like this.
What do you got there? What's the misprint?
Full of history. I got confused. Thankfully, you saved me on the geek.
What misprint for what? I didn't see.
Cards have some incorrect in the rule book. The rule book's got some issues.
Well, no. So for those of you wondering, Bohemian Villages actually tells you like in a certain player count that you are supposed to remove a certain village tile. So like each tile has like certain buildings on it, and like depending upon what level you play, like certain things have to be available for you to be able to possess different buildings in the villages. And so it tells you remove this tile, and so because each tile has 2 sides, and like it has a different name of a village on either side. Well, it tells you to remove like I forget what it is. It's like the Stenpfeifer / Hoffenheifer tile. Well, but the Steffheifer and Hoffenheifer or whatever are on 2 separate tiles. So it's like you're looking for one tile, but they're on 2 separate tiles. And so it was a mistake that was actually on the DLP version. But it just it didn't correct it for our print. Which just kind of sucks. I wish we'd known that. Then we could have corrected it. No, never a problem.
This is all faith in this company.
This just goes to show you the importance of what I call reprint notes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but there on BGG and also I believe on our website now, TMG, on the TMG website, it has like the workaround for it, and it's only with a certain, like, I think it's only if you play with 5 is when it happens. So I mean it won't affect. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But so Bohemian Villages, the way it works is on your turn you have 4 dice and you roll 4 dice. And I forget how many, I think it's a variable number of workers depending upon the number of players, but you have a certain number of workers, and then you take your worker and you then get to place them onto, depending upon the rolls, you place your workers onto jobs within these villages, depending upon the roll and how you want to divvy it up. So if you rolled a 2, 3, 5, 6, like you could use an 11 and a 5, or you could say an 8 and an 8. So like you can divvy up the 4 numbers however you want, and then you get to place your workers on these buildings, and some of them will give you immediate benefits by giving you some coins, which ultimately turn into victory points, and some of them give you like benefits that will be useful if you can keep like certain territories available. So like. And then there's like there's different jobs you can have, and then like there's like inns, if I remember correctly, and like if you can keep control of the inns, and then you can do something else, and when it gets back to your turn, you can cash in on the inns. If you control churches, and you are able to take this tile that's like the bishop tile, then you'll be able to cash in on the churches you control. So there's all these different things that you have to do, and it's all time related. And the game ends when somebody manages to get all of their workers onto the board. But there's a mechanism that allows you to kick other people's workers out of their spaces and make them take the worker back and put it in front of them. And so like there's different rules as far as which ones you can push out at different times, and it's actually pretty clever. The one thing about it that I didn't like is that it can sometimes be, because the tiles are kind of small, it can sometimes be difficult to like see, let's like, oh well, I could put this into a like a butcher, like that's like one of the jobs you could put your person to work at. But like you start scouring the different villages, and you're looking for this spot that's a butcher, and it would have been okay. It would have been like functionally way easier if each cardboard tile just had like like a little list, right, of what was on there, and like spots, like because not each village tile isn't the same. I mean, you might have a village that has like 2 butchers, a glassmaker, an inn, and a church, but then you'll have another one that has 2 churches, 2 inns. So not each one's the same. So it would have been functionally easier if like each tile just had like basically like a listing. It's like, oh, in there's 2 spaces, there's 2 spaces, instead of like well-made art of the different buildings. So sometimes I was like looking and trying to find the right one, which kind of annoyed me a little bit. But I don't know. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun playing with it. It plays really quick, and you can teach it really fast. And it's like I hate the word filler just because I think it's kind of it's like almost like a dirty word to some people when you describe it. But I mean, it's got enough like cool choices and timing, and like I like dice, so it plays like in about 30-40 minutes, and then you're done. And it was like kind of fun and challenging and interesting to do too. So, and you can be a jerk to people too. Like if somebody's had a lot of churches, you can take their bishop tile from them. Oh, look, you got all those churches, but they aren't worth anything because you can't cash in on your because you're not the bishop. So it's like stuff like that. It's
That's
fun.
a shock. Lane's being a jerk playing pool.
Yeah. So that's me.
I gotta go. I'll come back later, guys. I got someone's at my door.
Oh no! Isn't the baby?
The stork stopped by.
So that was my quick review of Bohemian Villages. You're welcome.
Cool. I've been playing this.
Drop it.
Drop it. and drop it. You've got a little clear tower that sits on the table, and everyone has some different shapes. They all have the same shapes, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 shapes each, and they're all the same shapes and in your player color. And when you're trying to drop the shape, and depending on how high that shape crosses, you get points for it. But if you touch your color, you get no points. If you touch the same shape as what you just dropped, you get no points. And there's a border around it that if you touch the shape on that, or if it's set to colors, you touch your color on that border, you get no points. And so you're having to drop those pieces, and you've got 4 different types of shapes that you have without touching any of those same things as you build it up in a tower. It definitely a filler weight game, but I really dig it. It's a lot of fun. It's got that nice dexterity component, planning, and just the random look of how the pieces kick in there. It's from Cosmos, and it is really cool. It's a lot of fun. So I recommend that if you like a nice quick filler with a good toy component to it.
What about you, Barry? You playing anything lately?
I've been playing How Fucked Up Is the Wiring in My House.
Did you win?
Was that on Kickstarter?
Not yet.
Is it a co-op or competitive?
It's competitive right now. It's getting personal. No, I haven't played a board game in a while. I went to play Flow of History the other day, just didn't get to it. I haven't even been to Beermongers for a while. I keep forgetting the day.
So what the heck happened for you? You've been gone for a while. What's been wrong? You other than fighting with your house, apparently.
The beginning of May is always tough for me. I'm opening up the place down the shore, and getting the garden set up, and I've been working in the house and the shop and all that. It's always a rough time of the year for me.
Yeah. Your mother-in-law still there with you?
Unfortunately. Waiting for her to get out.
You didn't hear it because nothing came flying at him.
Well, I thought that she was out in the. You said like she was going to leave or something.
She was supposed to. Now it's like August or July, or not soon enough.
Lord Javi, this is not a psych shirt actually, though it should be a psych shirt because it has the pineapple. It was actually it was $6 shirts, and I'll say this: the $6 shirts, like the webs, like a lot of times, like you'll go to those websites with like the goofy shirts and everything like that. They're kind of hit and miss with the stuff that they have, but the shirts are actually really good quality shirts. Like, I mean, they aren't like cheap. So there you go. I mean, so if you're looking for, if you want to just like a mess of t-shirts and you just want to spend like, I think it's like if you spend, what is it? Like if you buy 10 shirts, they'll give them to you for $50. So it's like you save $1 a shirt. So if you just want a bunch of t-shirts, stuff you can wear to conventions, stuff you can just wear around the house and loaf around, $6 shirts. And you'll find something that you like. Like they have one on there. They have a Star Wars one that's great. It shows like the Skywalker farm on Tatooine. It says support your local moisture farmer. And I was like, that's good. Though the shirt that I want to get now, I've seen it a couple of times, and I actually saw a guy wearing it where it said Mos Eisley Cantina, where we don't like you and our friends don't like you either. I was like, I gotta get that shirt. Where we don't like you and our friends don't like you either. So Seth's gone, so I can ask you this, and this is a little bit politically charged. So the NFL came out with a ruling today that you have to stand during the national anthem, and those who do not wish to stand during the national anthem can wait inside the locker room while the national anthem plays, or other suitable area is what they said, and then. teams that have players or personnel that do not stand for the national anthem will be fined. And they didn't say like how much or anything like that, but they will be fined if that is the case. And they will, the players themselves will suffer, and personnel for that matter, will also like they'll be reprimanded in some way.
Right.
So, I'm just gonna say my thoughts on this, and you know, my big thing was, who cares? Who cares if you stand or do jumping jacks or ride the stationary bike or whatever during the national anthem? I don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't care. And I've always said that. But I've also said that, like, just like any other job, like, yeah, I mean, First Amendment right, I should be able to do whatever the hell I want. Yeah, that's true. But if your job says, well, I don't want you doing that, then you have to make the choice of whether or not you want to be employed and want to do that. And that's like, now, I always wonder, when they make decisions like this, did they make this decision because it's like the right and respectful thing to do? Or is it one of those things where it's like, I can't remember. I mean, I'm assuming, the armed forces, like, buy advertising with the NFL and support the NFL through advertising. So that, but the other part of me says, okay, well, what if they, but why does that even matter? I mean, yeah, okay, so say they buy X number amount of ad space, the armed forces does. Are you telling me that the armed forces said, you know what, you're not making your guys stand, we're not going to do any more ads to you? Are you telling me they won't have other people that won't, like, want that ad space, unlike the most popular show that's shown on TV? I mean, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I would like to think that we had moved forward as a society enough that we would just say, you know what, who cares? If you don't want to stand, that's fine. If you want to kneel, or if you want to sit in your chair and you want to protest, then go for it. Just like, but ultimately, I think for me, if I was like a coach, I'd be like, just, why are you causing the distraction? Instead of like my players being able to focus on their opponent, they've got to answer questions from me every guy. Oh, what'd you think about your teammates not standing up and whatever, and it's just like, I don't know. I guess it's the thing that I have a problem with, and I'll let somebody else talk here. I'll shut up for a while. Is that it isn't, in my opinion, like, even a First Amendment thing, but everybody's like saying, oh, they're violating their First Amendment rights. And I guess my problem with that is that it's like, yeah, no, it's not, because it's like your job. Like, I'm assuming people they're saying, if you went into your job and like you felt strongly about something, like you would, and you did a protest at your job instead of like going to your meeting, you wouldn't have a job anymore. And I don't know. It's just a lot of people, and I'm not saying it's wrong for them to feel this way, but a lot of people seem to think that it's really easy for them to say, oh, well, it's just so horrible that they're not allowed to do that. It's like, you're not allowed to do that either. Go to your job and do something that your boss would maybe find a problem with, and see how long you have a job. And it just, so I got a problem with that. Is that, like, other people like seeming to think it's just an easy decision. Like, you think, I'll fully say, I think I can't even think of his name right now. The quarterback, he should have a job. He's a good quarterback. There's a ton of teams that could use him. but they've completely blackballed him from the league.
Yeah.
Because why can't I think of his name right now?
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick, yeah. I mean, and that's BS in my opinion. I mean, because he's a good quarterback. I don't know. Anyway, I'll shut up and let someone else talk.
So, I don't care what they do. I feel like they should be able to do whatever they want, like anything else. But the NFL is a business. The NFL probably views this as hurting their brand because it's distracting from the game. The NFL wants to consider itself America's game, right? So being America's game, they want to show that they're respecting the country. At least that's what I think the theory is behind it. Whether it's right, wrong, that's indifferent. As for are they violating their First Amendment rights? The answer is no, because it is a private business.
Right.
It is not the government imposing this on it. The government cannot do this, but a private corporation can require their employees to do anything they want. They can censor their employees. They can do anything else. Just like you can't post whatever you want on YouTube and have it be considered free speech. YouTube can take it down, ban your account if they don't like what you say, because it is a private business. So people have to remember that constitutional amendments, for a lot of them, not all of them, you can't you can make rules that are outside what the Constitution says. You know, the First Amendment is Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right to people to peaceably assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. Grievances, right there in the Constitution for Lance. Yeah, it's not your right to do, say, or act as you want when you're
No, it is your right. You can go to your job and say and do whatever you want, with the understanding that if your employer has a problem with it, they can fire your ass.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a violation of your amendment to tell you have to shut up and do what you say or you're fired. So that is where the Constitution doesn't fall in. Just same as several other things, right? So is it right or wrong? I don't think it's right for them to make a rule and fine people for it, but because I think they're making it an even bigger issue than it was before. And just they should have just left well enough alone, but whatever. It's their business. We'll see if it hurts them or helps them, right? I think they felt like ratings were down last year a bit, and we'll see if it's better or worse this year.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that like all these people, I shouldn't say all these people. There's a lot of people that say, "Oh, you know, this is hideous and horrible and what have you." Yet, if I bothered to, like follow these same people, like I guarantee you that I will see them post their stuff about their favorite football team, and when the year starts, and they're like, "Oh, I'm really hoping the Steelers do well this year," or whatever. It's just like, okay, well. Yeah, you think it's horrible that they're not allowing these people to talk and whatever, but it's not stopping you from, tuning in and watching all the time, So it's just, I don't know that.
So I will laugh because one of the first things I saw when it was first kind of coming up today that they were going to make a rule about it was going to be a 15-yard penalty for teams where the players knelt. I'm like, well, that's the dumbest rule they could do because you're just going to have offsetting penalties. Nothing happens and you play your game. So no, they're going to fine players instead and hit them where they don't like it. Depends on how stiff the fines are. Some guys will just pay it just to give the bird and say, "F you, I'm doing what I want," and they'll do it just despite the NFL at this point.
If Marshawn Lynch was still playing, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, the whole thing bothered me from the get-go. I mean, my family's been in the military since the Civil War at some point, but that was a sign of disrespect to what these people died for. But regardless of that, this guy had a platform outside of being on TV and all that to express his opinions and his protests. So I can see the NFL side on that to an extent. Why the NFL did it, it's money. I'm sure of that. It's their sponsors and everything else.
Follow the money.
Yeah. They don't care about patriotism one way or the other. It's basically money for them.
And I'll I'll go as far as to say I don't think taking a knee is necessarily disrespectful. I mean, you're still paying attention. You're standing a different way to say something different. It's not like you've got your back to it or you're running around and gyrating with a flag or doing something like that.
No, I think choosing that
you're not
you're
you're disrespecting, but you're not. You're making a statement versus defacing the flag or something like that, which there I think you get even more people riled up. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's let the people protest what they want to protest, and if you don't like it, don't make a big deal about it. Well, whatever. In the end, do what you want. Be happy.
Well,
I just think the timing of it, he could have done it in so many other ways. At press conferences before or after the game, it's that at that particular time. I don't think that was right. Again,
that's fine. I mean, there was a lot of people that felt the same way as you do, Barry. I mean, obviously, or else it wouldn't have been as a hotly contested issue as it was.
Right. And that's why he did it at that time. I understand that, but like I said, I don't see just because these players have a platform why they should bring their own political or whatever views into something.
They are in a unique position where they have a lot of people and a lot of eyes on them, and that they can if they feel strongly about something, that they have the ability to draw eyes onto problems that they have issues with. Now, I mean, who knows? Would it have the same effect if if they had done it in a different way? I don't know. I mean, it's just it's a really tough thing, right? I mean, it's just like it's tough to wrap your know exactly what certain people feel or think or whatever, and know what the purpose behind it was. I mean, if you go and you look at the first interview that Kaepernick ever gave afterwards, I mean, he was all over the place with what his mission and his idea was.
Yeah, he was.
He was talking about that, I mean, among other, he regaled against Hillary Clinton, saying that she deserved to be in jail. He said Donald Trump deserved to be in jail, and he went, and it definitely got refined as time went on. As far as so it was in a way, but who cares? It doesn't matter. I mean, the reasoning or whatever you want to call it behind his protest, it was exactly for what it was. I mean, it just, and I don't know, it's one of those things for me that it's maybe a bad choice in my opinion that they're making, by trying to I don't know, just shut them up in a way, just okay, well, but I mean, they made the decision, and it's just and they made it, and the thing is that they did it way early, which is probably really smart on their part. It was just oh, okay, well, we're gonna do this. Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like they're doing it in preseason games or whatever and making the decision, and so they made their decision, they put it out there, and now it's got months to just go away, basically. And that was the purpose behind that, as far as just all right, now just we're gonna weather the storm here, and we released our carefully worded we released our extremely carefully worded press release about it, and how we respect our players' viewpoints and ideas, and how, but this is how we're going to go, and now we'll just sit back and we can wait, and then we can move forward. And the thing is that everybody's like, well, why did they make a decision? It's well, why would they even bring this up, or why would they even do anything? I think it was one of those things where it's they had to go one way or the other. They had to pick something.
Yeah.
They had to decide one way or the other if they were going to allow this stuff to keep going, and just and have a definitive answer as to how they're going to handle it, and then this is what they decided. Now, I mean, I'd be interested to know the reasoning behind it. Not that we'll ever know, but
Well, they always had an image, or was that baseball? I'm thinking of. And I think it's baseball, where they always try to have an image for the league in general. Wearing the suits and the ties and all that. That might be baseball. I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Well, I can remember, because I'm old, that at the end of the broadcasting day, national anthem. Like I'd watch TV so late sometimes as a kid that I'd be up late enough for the national anthem to be played while the bald eagle flies over the lake, and all the patriotic imagery that you can think of. Just because this concludes our broadcasting day. And so that was on the TV but I don't know. We kind of, that's weird. It's like when you think about that, how we've just kind of moved forward as a society in a lot of weird ways about a ton of things, and one of them is definitely, the level of patriotic stuff, right? I mean, and I'm not saying it's good or bad or otherwise, but I mean, it is weird how we've kind of, if like in a lot of weird ways, like saying that like you're patriotic and sometimes like be like, I don't know, you can be like, I've definitely seen people like say, just like, oh, it's like, like patriotic is akin to, being conservative and Republican, and then so then you're like evil or whatever. I don't know. And I think that kind of dovetails a little bit into, some of the stuff for me recently that's just been really annoying me, and a lot of things that have just been really bothering me lately, as far as just people's mentalities and attitudes towards each other. And like nobody, like it just seems like recently for me, like everything's political now, and it's just like, and everything's got a bend to it, everything's got a twist, and everything's got a some sort of a ulterior motive behind it, or a bent to it. And I might be oversimplifying. I might be just being really sensitive to it or something. I'll fully admit that that's quite possible, but I don't know. It was a lot simpler, when I was a little bit younger. Or maybe I'm just getting old and crotchety. I mean, that's my problem.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
No problem.
What?
No, it's not that.
What's Scott Alden and freaking Anthony doing?
Hey,
Scott Alden.
What's up?
So Scott, does January like 13th, 14th work for you for a Gathering of Vikings?
Oh my God. How cold will it be?
Oh my God!
-10.
Look at the pansy.
Freaking negative frozen
Put a
balls.
sweater
That's how
on.
cold it'll
Already
be.
in.
You'll be able to come out of your room at the Holiday Inn and go downstairs and play games. You don't have to
But
go
what about
outside.
getting from the holiday, the airport to the holiday?
They do have cars.
Is it a direct flight? Is it a direct flight?
For you, it is.
Cool. Yeah, I'd probably be all right. I don't know if Michelle will kill me or not. Maybe we'll see.
We never liked her anyway.
It's not a bad day. Let's just say my anniversary is like the week before. So
We'll see. You can.
maybe she wants to go too. We could visit that place as a destination.
Fargo. and
Yeah,
North
everybody wants to go in the middle of
I
January.
keep hearing, almost. I want to go to Fargo, North Dakota. Oh my God.
Lance,
Yes, sir.
will there be a Mikester reality tour as part of the Gathering of Vikings? Like we'll get on a bus and we'll go around. Like here's the pizzeria.
Where's
I used
Yeah,
to
do we
work
get
at.
The headphone tour.
It's Pronto, right? Or what was the place?
I've actually thought about that. I mean, like there's a couple places that like you have to go and eat at. Like you have to go to Dwayne's House of Pizza and have their pizza.
Well, I don't care about going there to
I have
eat.
to
I
know
want to
such
go and see all the places you've told us about from your childhood.
You'll have to remind me which ones that you want to know about, and I can probably tell you about
We
it.
want to know where the video
like you've
game
already
store
told us.
was. I mean, the video rental place you worked at. The pizza.
Well, that no longer exists. That no longer exists. They tore down that mall.
The pizzeria with the safe in the floor.
That's still around, but it isn't a pizzeria anymore. It's a bank.
They didn't preserve it like the historical society didn't come in.
They should have.
Save the pizzeria.
Yeah, they should have. But yeah, there you go. The jerks. Hey Aldi, I posted my first super long video of where I talked about like something. It was almost an hour and a half long. I posted it today. I was painting my ghouls that I'm working on right now, and I blathered about D&D for like 90 minutes.
Cool.
So
I love the way I saw in that
Your camera
post, it
actually looks
said
good. I don't know what you did.
long one.
What did it say? Oh,
He said that this is going to be long, and I'm like, only an hour and a half? That's nothing. That's
well, yeah, but that's just me talking for like an hour and a half. Like I didn't have anybody else around. I was
Was
just
there a chat, or was it
No.
just you monologuing?
I just monologued.
Oh my God.
I just talked for 84 minutes, and yeah. So
I
if
don't think I could ever do that.
so the video is basically the premise and the idea of my the last D&D campaign that I ran,
Cool.
and like the things that happened as I played, and yeah.
And is it stream of consciousness, or is it actually structured?
It's me, so
Okay. Well, all right. There you go.
yeah. So it bounces around a little bit. I'll be interested to I'll be interested to check and see like the amount of minutes that people actually
Watch.
watch on
Watch
that
it.
one. Yeah.
Do you have a good camera on your mini paint though?
Well, I'm not really. It's the me painting the minis has nothing to do with anything.
It's more about talking than the minis.
Yeah, it's more about. It's just I instead of me just sitting, instead of me just standing and staring at the camera. It's more for me, like just like let's see
He
here.
was talking to his minis.
Yeah, that works.
Hey Seth, you coming to BGG Spring?
Yeah, I'm not coming to BGG Spring.
First year, right?
I've never been to BGG Spring.
Oh, BGG Con, you've been to everyone.
Yes, that's true. And I went to the first cruise too. But that's this weekend, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I'm going over there tomorrow.
I would love to. It'd be super fun, but I've got something else big planned for this weekend. In fact, we were kind of optimistic Michelle might have gone into labor yesterday or today, but that didn't happen yet. So,
oh yeah,
yeah. My son is due on Friday, so
that would be a big on spring, son.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you know, Lance is a very tough name.
Hey, I remember. Yeah, tough. Yeah, it's tough to have a name like Lance. I know. So,
Womp womp.
I remember being at BGG Con one year, and there was a guy whose name is Chris, but what did he go by? He was I can't remember his nickname right now, but anyway, I can't remember his last name either. He has like the long ponytail, dark hair, glasses. I used to see him all the time at KubaCon too.
Chris
had to. I saw him at BG Con like the first day, and he had to leave like the second day because his wife went into labor. He had to run back home. I remember that. What was his name? Oh man, I feel terrible.
He was at the first one?
I don't know if it was the first one. No, he was there whatever year it was, and it was not the first one. It was certainly not. It was at that. It was the same hotel we were at in like 2011. So I'm not sure which year it was, but it was around then. Yeah. And yeah, he had to fly home like the second or third day of the con.
Oh yeah, Siege.
Yeah, Siege.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just imagined if I went this weekend, that would be me. I'd be flying back on Saturday or on Friday to watch my kid get born. Well, I guess that.
Congratulations ahead of time.
Led to a lot of silence. I didn't really expect that.
Well, I can't make fun of you for having a kid.
Womp womp.
So you guys should all check your email. I'm sending out 1.8 emails tonight.
For
Well, I
what?
should say tonight. Over the next 30 hours.
So here's
The
a
next
funny
30 hours.
here's a funny story.
Fastest way I can send them.
Here's a funny thing. You mentioned that that guy Chris's wife going into labor.
Yeah.
Not the first time it happened.
Nah.
2012, Todd Degani. Well, made it to the first day, and then my wife went into labor. He's got a picture of the baby.
Yay, babies. So anyway, Scott, how's it going?
I'm exhausted.
Oh, why is that?
Heard of these 4 letters called GDPR? You have to have heard of it.
I've gotten a ton of emails from
Goddamn
GDPR.
Paul
Basically,
Rudd.
is changing the face of the internet.
GDPR, goddamn Paul
I'm
Rudd.
predicting several companies going bankrupt.
What is it?
It's a set of regulations coming out of the EU that basically pretty strict privacy laws,
Yep.
and the penalties are stiff.
So basically, a lot of this stuff is, you know how when you do something, it's like, all right, let's say you do a Kickstarter for someone, you back your Kickstarter, and on the pledge manager, on the bottom, you used to have like things like, if you'd like to not get our newsletter, check this box. You can't do that anymore. That's a fine. You have to always let people opt in. You don't have to let them make them opt out. So anything like that. So I'm surprised, Lance, if you check your email, you probably have like 50 emails this week from people saying we've updated our policies, and still some of them are wrong. I've written to a few of them back, and them saying, this is not correct. You're gonna get in trouble.
So if you're in compliance, the fines range from 4% of your annual, they call it turnover in Europe, which is basically your gross, or $10 million, whichever is more. So, and then if you're not in compliance, it's up to 20 million.
So I have a question.
It's kind of stiff, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah. No, we had to go through a whole thing at work.
Many
about
companies instantaneously,
So my question is,
assuming they can.
why does a company based in the U.S. have to comply with this?
If you deal with anyone in the EU,
Yeah.
you have to follow the same rules.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm still trying to figure out. So if
So
you
I
have a
have a business.
website in the U.S. and
I have a
someone
business.
logs in from Europe to use your website,
I
you
have to ask
comply
them-
with their rules.
I have to ask them if they'd like to be part of the mailing list.
How can they
And if
enforce
I
the
use-
rule of law for a country that you're not part of? How does that work?
Because then I cannot conduct any business there.
Okay,
So if I'm doing it just a fan site or whatever, I can do whatever the fuck I really want,
right.
basically, technically.
Language.
But once I am conducting any sort of business there, then I'm a business entity and I can get fined. This is going to come out of the EU to other places too. It's going to come here in a few years. So basically, if you take their information, you provide it to whoever, you have to explain what information you provide. Like if you provide just numbers, like say Scott just provided where in the world people are logging in from, ages and that, like no specifics. He wasn't saying like Keith Collins and here's his address and here's his annual income and that kind of stuff. But if he was just he has to tell you that this is the information we collect and this is who we provide it to.
Yeah. Well, we've updated our privacy policy on BGG. You can go read it if you want. It's only 12 pages or something.
Oh, that's all.
18, maybe.
So
It was 18 Word doc pages. I don't know how big it is in HTML.
what did this
What's the page?
come
It's one
from?
page in HTML.
Why did this come about?
Because people in the EU got sick of people taking their information and selling it to other companies.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically, to penalize those bad.
And most of it came from the fact that the EU, it doesn't, I mean, not saying everyone else doesn't, but in the EU, they had a lot of companies that would have the box already checked that said you agreed to this, but it's part of the terms and services and people don't read it because it's in small print and there's a whole bunch of it. But literally, you have to select the box that says, I'm okay with my information being provided to such and such and so, whoever it is that you said. You can never say unclick this box to not share your info.
All right.
So like even things like if you register a website through one of the web providers now, they usually have the box that says, would you check the privacy box? And then they don't put you on the who is thing. So you don't have to get all the vulture people coming to you with stuff. But that technically you have to opt in for that.
Well, to an extent, that makes sense. I mean, but I figure with all the fine print, they would cover your ass legally before that.
No, but then that's the point. People's arguments were, well, it's hidden in there.
They have to. It has to also be in clear English.
Right. Clear English, and has to tell you exactly what they're doing with it. They can't say, we share the information internally with our partners. You have to tell them, this is the information we share.
Okay.
So if you would subscribe to anything that's based in the EU or does business in the EU, you've probably got emails this week. I got about 50.
I just quit doing business in the EU.
So you can check your spam folder. There's probably a bunch of things in there. Like even like if you were subscribed to a newsletter for Asmodee, like the original Asmodee, not Asmodee North America or something, they send things out saying they've updated their policies.
I literally only got one thing to say, hey, click this so we can keep talking to you. That's the only thing I've got so far.
Because you have to confirm that you actually signed up for it. So before it was kind of a no thing, like you couldn't add people to subscription lists and all that. Now it's a bigger no.
Right.
Especially if they're in the EU, the company that's doing it.
No, I don't see that as a bad thing necessarily.
No, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but throwing out something without... So we're dealing with this type of thing in the U.S. in pharmaceuticals right now. They've come up with the rule and say, you know what? All drug products manufactured and sold in the United States have to be serialized, which means every bottle has to have a serial number on it that tracks it back to where it was sold, where it came from, what wholesaler, what pharmacy, what manufacturer, which line, what day it was produced, down to the bottle, right? Every single bottle will have a unique serial number embedded in a 2D barcode.
Right.
You know how expensive that is? And people talk about the cost of drugs, and now the government's put in a rule that's going to do almost nothing, that nobody has the technology and is ready to do by the deadline, and they're just raising the prices for the end consumer, because anytime you impose new rules and stuff like that, it's always passed on to the consumer.
What's that going to prevent unless the bottle is still sealed?
Well, it doesn't even have anything to do with the sealed bottle. It's supposedly to prevent counterfeiting. But you think they won't just copy some random serial number? If they're going to counterfeit, they're still going to counterfeit. It stops. Like there are some major counterfeiters in, like, say, Mexico that illegally import stuff and get it into the supply chain stuff, and you'll get this stuff. But I mean, with modern printing technology, you can fake it good enough and nobody's going to mess with it. It will put mom and pop pharmacies out of business because they're not going to be able to afford the equipment to be able to deal with the stuff, or just don't want to mess with it.
And this is all just over the counter, right? Obviously, you can't do it with...
It's all prescription. It's all RX stuff. I don't know if OTC is going to have to be serialized or not, because I don't deal with any OTC.
Wait. Okay, so you guys aren't shipping like a bottle of 50 pills. You're shipping these big bottles to the pharmacies.
No, we ship bottles of 30s to pharmacies. We ship 90s. We send 100s. We send 500s. We send thousands.
But I'm saying if you're sending, I don't know what your company does, but say they did erythromycin, pharmacies are buying them like in the bulk.
Well, a lot of times they like to buy them in 30s or 90s. They like to buy 1 month or 30 or a 3-month supply in those units, so they don't have to redispense. They just pull a bottle, slap a label, hand it to you, right? Saves their labor. So they buy a lot like that. But
aren't they supposed to still check the pills?
They'll open it up, make sure the right thing's in there, but they don't recount them.
But isn't there
they
some
may or may not break the seal. I
Right,
get stuff that's still got a seal on it.
but here's the thing. So they're getting. This is what I'm saying. They're getting the bottle that has your company's label on it. Then
Yep.
they're printing out a label for the person who got the prescription,
Yep.
putting that over your label. So where are you supposed to be putting this barcode?
It'll be on our label or our bottle when we ship it. So where it makes it even dumber is, say, when we sell 1,000 count, 500 count bottles. When you go to a big CVS, they take the things that are high volume, they get them in the biggest size they can buy because they get their cheapest price, and they dump it in a bin, right? And they might put a lot of information on that bin or whatever, but they dispense it in your pharmacy bottle that you take home.
Right.
There's no traceability anymore because you don't even know the lot number of your drug because the pharmacy doesn't record any of that. So if I get a complaint, I don't have any clue if it's come from a pharmacy bottle, which of my lots it was, to be able to do an investigation to figure out what your actual problem is. It's crazy. And now we're going to serialize it and stuff. So it's just
I like cereal.
Huge waste of money. So, we're talking millions and millions of dollars being added to the cost of drugs for no reason.
What's your favorite cereal?
California started it.
I'm a Frosted Mini Wheats guy myself.
So am I.
I've been digging Crunch Berries lately.
My son loves Crunch Berries. Well, Colossal Berry Crunch is what it's called. It's like the multi-meal version of it. But yeah, he is down with the Crunch Berry.
Change the camera angle.
I love myself some Golden Grams.
Golden Grams is another good choice.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is okay. Not nearly as
I've
good
never
as
liked
Golden
Cinnamon
Grams.
Toast Crunch. I don't know. It's too cinnamon toasty, I guess. I don't know.
The worst cereals that are popular, like I'll love like a Fruity Pebbles or a Trix or a Fruit Loops, but the ones that are popular and are garbage is Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms is the worst popular cereal.
My son likes it.
It
Marshmallow Mateys is what it's called, the multi-meal version of it.
Oh my gosh, freaking Lucky Charms has flavorless cereal with dry chalk marshmallows in it. It's just nasty.
They're really good if you get them wet and soaked in the milk.
Yeah.
I used to work with a guy that would he'd do this with Lucky Charms, but he'd do this as like almost any of his cereals. He would take like a thermos, and he would fill it with cereal, and he'd pour milk into it up to the top, and then he'd close it and he'd put it in the fridge and he'd go to bed, and in the morning he would get ready for work, and he would just take the thermos and he'd open it up and he'd just drink that on the way to work because like everything was soggy, and he could just like, and so the milk would taste like the cereal, and there'd be some chunks and stuff in there, and he would just that was his breakfast. He would drink that on the way to work.
It's a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I tried it once with Raisin Bran, and it was really good actually, because like you got like the raisins, of course, weren't soggy, so you got like little like chunky raisins, and it was tasty. And so I was like, he was onto something there.
I worked at this bar once, and we used to make cinnamon toast martinis.
Oh, go on.
But with cinnamon toast crunch. So you basically steep the milk. You steep the milk in the cereal. You just let it soak. So all of the cinnamon sugar comes out of it, and you strain it, and then it's Fireball. It's Fireball and that milk. That's all it is. People loved it. It was nasty, but
so I was at the grocery store the other day at the Walmart because that's what we have. And
you don't, no,
dude,
you don't grocery shop at Walmart.
You do, and that's the only place you have to shop.
You don't have a grocery store near you.
We have 2 grocery stores, one grocery store and a Walmart
market.
I mean, it's just the super Walmart. But
our
Walmart has driven everything out of my town, so that's the only place to shop, and we hate it. But anyway, next to the Nestle's Quick, they had cereal milk, which is mixed to put in your milk to make it taste like cereal milk. I haven't tried it, but it amused me.
And we wonder why 3/4 of our country's obese.
Because we have lots of food, that's why. And yeah, cereal milk, that's the other reason. But oh god, I hate Walmart with a passion.
I hadn't been in a Walmart in like months, and I had to go there for some reason. I don't even remember what it was. And I walked in, and the smell hit me, and I was just like, It's like the cleaner or something that they use, you know. And it's just like that. Yeah,
what the hell is going on where you live?
What do you mean?
Or late?
Walmart is perfectly fine.
I don't know.
Walmart by me actually sells more groceries than the grocery store, so their food is actually fresher.
Yeah, the food's fresher at the Walmart than the other store too, because it's got better turnover.
I have a grocery store that is like a giant grocery store that is a 2-minute drive from my house. Not even.
We can't even get a Target, dude. We tried to get a Target in town. Target was going to bring a store, and Walmart blackmailed the city to stop them from coming in.
You find pictures of them with a...
No, because we have a Walmart distribution in town, and they threatened to close it if we let Target come in.
That's fucked up.
Oh yeah, it is. Walmart's ruthless.
Walmart is ruthless. Walmart goes and doesn't tell people they want to buy your stuff. They go in there and say, we want to sell this. This is what we're selling it for. What price are you giving us?
Yeah. Just like
and
Amazon.
They go, wait, what? No, they go, no, this Heinz ketchup bottle, we're going to charge $1.50 for. You're like, wait, we charge $3 for that bottle in every other store. No, we're charging $1.50. What's the price you're going to sell it to me for?
$1.49.
Well, but that's why when you go to Walmart, they don't have as many varieties as supermarkets do. Because if Heinz doesn't play ball, you can't get Heinz products in Walmart. Regardless of how many people want it, they're like, nope. They wouldn't let sell it to us for 50 cents a bottle.
Aldo, you sharing those electrosols with Lincoln so he can have snacks too?
Yeah, we're
just giant Band-Aids.
We're getting high on the electrosol.
Lincoln!
Hey guys, how you doing?
So Aldo, you're bringing you're filling that steel cabinet with Buggy Nuggies on the way to Origins this year?
Yeah. Should we go grab it? We went last night.
Oh, that's what got me going. Is I saw your little post. I'm like, man, I hope he brings a big pile of that stuff to Origins.
We didn't buy that much because
man,
I should have gotten. I didn't think about getting it for Gen Con.
BGG
Origins.
BGG
We only got it for the weekend.
Oh yeah.
I may go back. Bucky Nuggies and Beaver Bites. Beaver Nuggets, Bucky Nuggies, and Beaver Bites.
Beaver Bites, Beaver Nuggets, and Beaver Bites.
Yeah, the Beaver Nuggets are okay. I like the Nuggies the best. They are tasty.
Is that the cheese?
Yeah, that's the spicy cheese thing.
Yeah, those are good.
Oh my gosh.
I had to Google it before I posted on your Facebook page. Make sure I said the right one.
Yep. So they told us they're expanding out of Texas.
Wow.
I mean,
they're everywhere.
Date near you.
Ooh.
It's the best bathroom you've ever been in.
It's ridiculous.
Like even my own bathroom. No. It's very nice. It's very clean. They constantly cleaning it. Everybody gets their own bathroom, like a full room.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty fancy.
That's almost too good for the lot lizards.
Yes. But yeah, Buggy's is an adventure.
Hey, Aldi, I didn't get my confirmation of being an admin yet.
All right. Do you want to be an admin? We're like 600 in the queue behind board game approvals.
No, he meant for the Facebook.
No, for the Facebook group.
Which Facebook group?
I want to be admin for the Facebook group.
Yeah.
He wants to tell people off for you.
I want to Bobby Bonilla that bitch.
Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla played for the Pirates and the Mets.
Yeah.
And famously told the reporter, "Oh yeah, I'll show you the Bronx."
Right. Okay.
He actually went to the high school in my neighborhood growing up.
Yeah.
So you got spring starting tomorrow, right?
Spring starts. We're going out there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
It starts on Friday morning.
It starts Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
So the big draw for spring, you'll have the Spiel games there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nominees.
Spiel games set up
Spiel des Jahres nominees.
all day. The Spiel des Jahres judges are there. They will teach the games all day, all night. What else?
Giant Azul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Have you played
I will.
all of them or any of them yet?
I have played a good amount. I haven't played any of the children's games. Emojito, Dragon's Breath, and Panic Mansion?
Epic Disco.
Panic Manor.
There's Panic Mansion, Shaky Manor, I think.
Shaky Manor, Panic Mansion. Right?
Yeah.
I haven't played any of those. I played The Mind, and I've played Azul,
You haven't played.
and I've played... I have not played Luxor.
I played that one.
Lincoln has played Luxor.
I don't know why.
I have not played... I played Gone Shown Clever. I've played... what's the other two?
The Mind, the Azul, Luxor,
Gone Shown Clever.
Ganshon Clever, Quacksalver, von Quedlinburg, Heaven and Ale.
Heaven and Ale I've played. Really like Heaven and Ale. Good. And I've not played Quacksalver.
Von Quedlinburg.
Von Quedlinburg. And Gone Shown Clever is very good too.
Yeah,
if you like
really
the roll and write games, it's really great. So I guess I played more than half.
So is Heaven Ale good, you said?
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it.
It's it's a bit abstract. It's about beer brewing, but you don't really feel like you're brewing beer.
No.
But it's
It's
got good mechanics.
what side of the lawn are you standing on?
Yeah. Are you in the dark or are you in the sun? That's how much your building costs. If you build your buildings in that sun, they cost a lot more. Cost double.
Yeah, but you get money
Money
on
is
the
bad in
side,
that game.
goods on the other side.
Yeah. So you put all your money in the dark, right? And all your brewing in the sun.
Yep.
I mean, it's not. The theme is not there.
The
but
end
it's got
scoring
good
is the
mechanics.
weirdest thing in that game.
The what?
The end scoring, how you calculate it.
Yeah, it's your lowest score, right?
No, but you have to actually move
you
everything
convert
first.
them. Yeah, you slide one up and slide one down.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though. I like it. I mean, it's really. I thought it was good. And we did play one rule wrong, so I got to play the game again to make sure. I think everybody plays the rule wrong.
The monks, when you place the monk out.
Yep. when you fill a circle, reactivating or whatever, you don't reactivate the monk.
Correct.
Thinking, what have you been painting lately?
Nothing. I was actually contemplating painting the new Star Wars Fantasy Flight game.
New Nikon Army coming out in June. Age of
Necron?
Sigmar. New Age of Sigmar 2.0 and then new Night Hunt. Army.
Yeah. They're redoing the game already. I know.
Well, it came out in 2015.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 3 years ago. They got to update that game.
About time.
Well,
It's stale.
It had problems, but the updated rules fixed a lot of stuff. The previous updated rules.
The General's Handbook that came out last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen some of the stuff they're doing?
No, I only heard about it and I was like, what?
So
I wonder if that Games Workshop cafe has opened yet.
the big things are they're doing like turn of order. You know how like now it's kind of set up where like you win the roll and you get to decide if your opponent goes first or you do. And so then the hope is that if you let your opponent go first and you go after them, like hopefully like you win the next one. So like you get a double turn, so like you can like, kind of sway things a little bit. So they're changing that up. So it's less likely for people to get double turns, because that was like kind of the big aspect that people were like, usually going for, and like as far as like different strategic things. The big thing is that they're actually taking, and they're taking you're gonna have command points, so you can actually save up. So in the past, it was like if your general was the person that got to do their command thing, whether it's like inspiring presence.
Anthony muted him.
I was listening. You guys are mean.
We haven't done that in so long.
A friend of ours just finished like a huge group of Cadian troops that look.
Anyway, it's so hilarious. No, so no, so then like the command rule, like so you get a command point for every general you have, but if you actually spend the points and take War Scroll battalions, then you actually will get an extra command point. So like if you have a battalion, so that you'll get like 2 command points, and then you'll be able to use any of your leader's command abilities with your general. So like you'll have more of them, and if you want to, you can save your command points. You can do no, like you can do nothing. So you can like combine different commands like together, and like and you know for a strategic purpose. And then they're revamping the price, like the points. They're going back and they're adjusting the points per model for a lot of things. Hopefully they finally increase the Lord of Changes model points. That thing's way too small. But and then like I mean, because they're kind of just letting little tiny bits of information out. The one that everybody lost their crap over was the fact that they changed Mystic Shield, which is like the standard spell that everybody puts on a unit, and it increases their you add 1 to their save roll. So basically if something has a save versus damage of 3+, it turns into a 2+, and that's what everybody would do. They would just, whatever their big unit was, they give it that ability. Instead what they did is now you just re-roll rolls of 1. So in the past, so if you had a unit that would save it on 2+, like you it was basically like you'd save, or anything but a 1 would save, but now it would be like you actually, like you get to re-roll those 1s, but then if you roll another 1 or another 2 after that, you know, you're stuck. So it's like a lot of people are really upset that they changed the Mystic Shield, but no,
I
whatever.
prefer that. That sounds better to me.
Which, the re-roll 1?
Yeah, the re-roll ones.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I would think that would be the one that people want, but I don't know. People don't like new things, right? Well, and that and everybody always has a gimmick for their army, you know, and so when you monkey with the gimmick, then they get upset about it. But there's a brand new Nighthaunt model, so I'm excited about the new Death models. So and that I'll buy and won't get around to painting. I'm finally painting my Flesh Eater Courts right now, which can't believe.
Well, I definitely need to paint. It's so, you know, I think since you've last spoken to me, I've been gone for half the time, so I haven't had a time to do anything. But I'm looking forward to
Aldi, let him do some fun. Let him enjoy his life.
Oh, it's good. I've been having a great time. Japan was awesome. Tokyo Game Market was amazing.
Yeah, hey, tell me about Tokyo Game Market.
It's bigger now. This was the first year. I mean, they've had a couple events that have been 2 days, but this is the first year of 2 days, and it's big. And they have the second day. A lot of the independent, I mean, they're all independent probably, but the small publishers, they change out. So there's a bunch. I didn't even see any of that on Sunday because I was so busy. But a bunch of great stuff. Eric posted the first day's worth of videos up now, and there's some really cool stuff in there. But there's a bunch we missed too. That's one of the things I want to try to resolve. That now that they know we're there, hopefully we can get more people asking to be involved. We had 3 translators helping us out, which was great. And the stuff looks cool, and there's some good games. I mean, I only bought a few because, you know, I only had so much space. But Pass Tally looks really great. I mean, I played it. It is great.
That'll get picked up.
And then what was the one that we were talking? Hictograph or Hictomania or whatever.
Hictomania, I don't know.
It's the one. There's this one where you're tenting the cards. You put them on this felt so that they all just. You have to balance them in a tent, and then you can draw as many cards as you can draw out without, as long as you don't, once you pull the cards out, they don't fall down, and the tent stays up. And you need to, because you can only keep a couple cards per round, so you want to have a bunch of cards to choose from, but the rest have to go out. So it's really cool.
They look pretty unique. Someone will pick that up.
Yeah, neat mechanism. And then the other one that was cool, that I guess has been out, but was recently or just re-released, is Babel by the same designer, and that's the one where you're stacking. You have walls, and floors that you're trying to build this tower, and there's somebody in the group potentially that isn't working with you, and it is a cooperative thing, but there's that one person, so they're trying to conceal that they're trying to conceal that they're putting out bad walls, because what you want is, if you're the trader, is you want the 2 walls or 1 wall for the stage, that if it's 2 walls, you want one to be much shorter than the other, so the floor on top of it's very slanted, and it's great. And the guy, I cannot remember his name, Akihitsu, let me look it up. He was awesome. He's like my favorite guy in Japan. He was so funny, giving Eric crap when he got his name wrong. He yelled out his name. It was so cool. I cut that out though because Eric was embarrassed.
Aw, poor Eric.
Did Tasty Mitchell go?
Dictaroon.
Daniel did.
Yeah, I saw Daniel at the first night. We were playing some game that we're all just, when it was done, we're like, wow, that was not great. It just wasn't done. That's all.
Yeah, I remember my one thing that I was proud of that I got in Japan was my Who Shit the Toilet game. I'm glad I own a copy of a game that only probably has 200 copies in the world.
Which game is that?
The Who Shit the Toilet game. The
How come you guys didn't publish that? That's a surefire success. Have you not been to Toys R Us lately?
No, because it went out of business.
I mean Target.
Well, did you see Catane?
Oh, Catane, yeah.
Catane is this one game where you are trying to have the longest dump, and it's like Catan. I mean, the cover is a parody of Catan cover, and you have these hexes. But I was laughing when there's this flower on the board. He goes and he says, "This is the anus," and I started laughing. I'm like, okay, this is a flower. Then he says, if you roll 3 of any one number, then you get to move the anus. I'm like, you get to move the anus? How does the anus move? Oh my God, it was so bad. It's hilarious. It looks like it could be fun. But man, the other one that was actually cool was the Safari.
Oh yeah, where you take pictures.
Take the pictures. That one was really cool. Awesome.
You use your phone. You put your phone on the board.
You have these animals vista points that you're at, and you're looking at it's a Savannah Smile maybe, and so you pick where you want to take your photos from, and your goal is to get as many animals in the shot. And the way the animals move around is you lay out a card and you move the animal to that new position on the next card, and it's really, really cool, really fun.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty unique.
I hope that somebody. There's a few weird things about it that it could use some development, but it was really neat. There's really cool stuff. They just are doing different things there that is really great. Lots of just out of left field ideas that are just really, really neat. And then went to all the game. I went to at least like 5 game stores. I went to the tiniest game store I've ever been in, which is smaller than this room. Actually, probably about this big total, almost. Maybe a little bit narrower this way. And it's just... It was crazy. Ken, as we call Ken Itzia, he loves Reiner Pizza. He took me around to a bunch of stores. Went to Roll and Roll, which is ArcLight's store, and that was pretty good. And then a bunch of the Yellow Submarines.
Yeah, the Yellow Submarine stores are pretty cool.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
And they're on multiple floors. I mean, I saw 4 of them, and they were all about the same.
Go turn that off.
Yeah, is it trying to cool dry or something? Those are great.
Doing laundry together?
And 3 in Tokyo area, Shibuya, Shinjuku, and one other place. It's crazy.
Yeah, I enjoyed when I was there. It was pretty crazy. Did you go to eat anywhere cool?
I mean, everywhere I went was cool. I was with Ken and Eric Lang a couple of days after, and we went to like this. Near one of the shrines, we went to a ramen place that was just ridiculously great, and it was basic. Nothing was truly expensive to eat, other than we went to a buffet that was out at the convention at Big Site, which was expensive. But I guess in previous years it had been slammed, but it was not super busy, and it was fine. But I'm not a big buffet fan, so it's okay. But everything else was really cool. Went to sushi and. Simon Lindstrom took us to a pork cutlet place that was after the lunch hour rush, so we just had like this fantastic view of Akihabara. That was the other Tokyo yellow submarine I went to. This view of Akihabara area that up at the 7th floor, nobody there with us. It was great. And then went to a curry place that was just a chain with Eric Lang that was really great. So it was all fun, really cool. Went to find Kit Kats for everyone. Forgot the Kit Kats I was supposed to bring to Scott. Really bummed. I kept saying, Nikki, don't let me forget the chocolate. Forgot it all. So he'll get that Origins.
How many different flavors?
8 or 9, maybe more. Maybe 10 or 11. It's a bunch.
So BGG Con will have a Kit Kat tasting.
No, at Origins we'll have a Kit Kat.
Oh, or are you
tasting.
going to bring Origins?
I won't have it at the BG Spring. I'm going to give it to you before then because you've got to bring some back to Michelle, though. That was the downer. It's not a ton. They're tiny, tiny bars. All of them. They don't have the big ones.
All right. Well, that's enough of you, Lincoln. You've talked forever.
No problem.
You excited for BGG Spring there, buddy?
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Really
great.
We only have 4 games, well, 5 games to play. But I think I might save Pandemic Legacy Season 2. We're going to try to do that one as well. We've already shot 5.
I wouldn't mind to play the first month.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to spoil it for the
I wouldn't.
episode.
Yeah. Well, we played Season 1, but I wanted to play Season 1 again with a different group, but I didn't ever get to it.
Yeah, you didn't want to torture yourself anymore.
Again in September or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm trying to like get jazzed for Origins right now, and I'm having trouble. I don't know.
All right. Huh. I think another couple weeks. Like Keith, you've been looking at the releases, right?
Yeah, I've been going through it.
I have nothing on there is really grabbing me either on the release thing. So
yeah, it's not for the release stuff. Nothing's been grabbing me at all. I've been struggling with it,
which is fine. I can just spend a bunch of money at the Forge World booth, and I don't have to worry about. I can.
I have not purchased anything out of the Forge World booth. Is there a lot in there?
What is Forge World?
It's the
Forge. The resin people but their models are official GW models.
Giant stuff, like
Man,
big tanks. Big.
I really wish I was in your guys' spot like I was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like I just have no interest in playing any Games Workshop. I mean, Warhammer. I like Games Workshop.
It's easy to start.
I got it out of my system.
It's easy to get it back.
I don't want it back.
Come on, man. The guy would own everything, and he doesn't have room.
I don't have any room.
It's really good
another house
into it.
It's got the Night Haunt. The Night Haunt has that one giant specter thing though, like the monster that just like rips things apart, like the giant like ghost. The model actually has it like eating a horse. So it's like actually pretty cool, and I know if you order from Forge World, it costs you like $200 with shipping. So if they have one there, I'll buy it for like whatever it is, the 120 instead of having to like pay the online price plus shipping to get it. So I'm excited to check that out.
I've peeked at the stuff, but I've never really dug into it. I don't have the room for any of that stuff.
Neither do I, but.
We've been rearranging my game collection. It's like squeezing blood out of a stone to try to find space to put games away. Sorry, you guys will miss the flea market. I wish you were coming.
Yeah, you didn't do it in the fall when I'll be.
Well, both Anthony and I were talking. Our VIP badges and special guest notifications must have got lost in the mail. So.
For what? Oh, for spring?
Yeah.
All right, have a good show. See you guys later. Good night.
Later, Keith.
Good night.
I had my bag all packed and everything. I was just waiting.
Yeah.
Anthony, I would give you a ticket if you wanted to come. You guys did not say anything. You're making me feel bad now.
Poor Anthony. He's crying over there.
It's amazing how he offers it now and it's like 2 days away, right? Right, Anthony?
Oh, had I known.
Oh yeah.
We had a big party last week. Had I known you wanted to come, I would have invited you.
Oh, come on.
It's all right.
What else we played Drop. You guys played Drop It yet? Have you seen it?
Keith was just talking about it earlier.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
You know, you're great.
You're great.
Jorg.
What else?
Is everybody going to Solo?
I want
No.
to.
Fuck Star Wars, man. I'm done.
You're done.
Did we already do the Avengers spoiler cast? Did we already cover all that?
No, we started talking about it, and then you hadn't seen it, so we stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
And then we talked a little bit about it last week, and Seth hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
So you've seen it then, Aldi?
I have.
All right.
I loved every second of it. I felt bad.
There wasn't a single second of it that you would do differently.
I wouldn't say that.
You just said you loved every second of it.
But I did. I was like fascinated with every scene, you know? Like every little thing that just happened. I mean, I was just like, wow. My jaw was dropped.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, if I hadn't read the graphic novels before, it probably, like, a lot of the stuff would have probably mattered to me more. But
it was just cool to see it visualized. I mean, I read the novel. I read the graphic novels.
My wife put it perfectly, actually. She said, I feel like I just got done watching The Deathly Hallows Part 1, where you know, it looks like everybody lost. Voldemort claims the Elder Wand, and he goes to, you know, and you know, Dumbledore's dead and everything like that. It's like, if you
Spoilers.
Even if you hadn't read the books, you know he can't win, right? You know, that kind of thing. But like, she had read the book, so she knows exactly what's going on. He doesn't have the Elder Wand because the Elder Wand is more of a like you have to have control of it because of whoever like beats the last person who has the wand. It's like they have the essence of the Elder Wand, things like that. And it's just like, so it's just like, okay, great, that's the end. I want to see the part 2 now, because it's just like, I know there's more to this story, and let's just move on and let's get to the part 2 of the story.
Is it just 1 year away?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, you know, I realize they got to make their money and everything like that, but
yeah,
I thought they did a very good job with portraying, you know, a CGI character as having a soul, you know, and like, you know, he still murdered half a universe, but you know, is it, you know, like
allegedly?
Well, yes, allegedly. You know, you could. You know, but you could maybe understand his motivations behind it, you know? Yeah, and you know, and so they did a very good job with that.
That's the power of the Infinity Gauntlet gives you.
What do you mean?
It looked destroyed at the end. I don't know.
Yeah,
It looked like it was spent, yeah.
So
it was just recharging.
Well, like it was the Doctor Strange's line where he says, you know, it's just when he's as he's disappearing, he says, you know, we're in, you know, it's like, it had to be done, Tony. We're entering the end game now, you know, and just kind of like, so it's, you know, like, because he went through the 30 million different options or whatever, and there was only one in which they won, and so like, and Strange knew that he had to die, you know, for them to have the chance.
We're in spoiler territory now.
Keep 50,000 notices to be sent.
Mumble, what?
No, I thought it was really cool. I mean, the biggest thing to me, it felt like the villains had serious weight. The battles, you know, they felt like, I think we talked about this compared to Black Panther, where they felt like nothing to me. The battles in Infinity War were like, they had much more gravity. You know what I mean? Like, more serious. That kind of thing.
Well, for me, it was, I don't know if they had more weight or not. I mean, as cool of a movie as Black Panther was, because I enjoyed it, like, I think we talked about this, I never thought T'Challa was dead, you know, just like, oh no, the king, you know, it's like, no, he's not dead, you know, it's just like, he's
dead now.
So, well, you know, technically, yes, but, you know, spoiler, no, you know, so, I don't know. It was weird because it's like, oh, you kill off like all of the Guardians of the Galaxy except for Rocket. You know, it's just like, so, you know, that's the person that's going to be left, you know, to battle in the next one. You know, and he's going to be seeking. I think there'll be something very cool because of the fact that you know, Groot considers, you know, his Rocket to be his dad or whatever. So it's like, you know, that you know, Rocket's going to have a wonderful revenge scene against whatchamadig. You know, so I think that'll be cool. So, I was going to say this, and I mentioned this to Keith earlier, and I want to get Solo, the movie, right? I was thinking, how could they screw this up? You know, like, I'm willing to go to the movie. I'm willing to watch the Millennium Falcon. I like Chewbacca. I think there's going to be things about this movie I'm really going to like. They're going to take the Kessel Run away from Han Solo, because the line that he gives in New Hope is that fast ship, she's the ship that made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. It's going to like turn out that like wasn't him that piloted it. So like you're going to lose like part of that mystique.
So just by your own comment you just made, it wasn't necessarily him to begin with, and now you're going to complain that they're taking it away from him?
No, because the fact of the matter is that it, you know, the line itself is ambiguous, yes, but it's always been part of his. If you look at, and I actually went and I dug up my old Star Wars RPGs and things like that, and they actually mentioned they actually mentioned the Kessel Run and how Han Solo was the you know, how they did it and everything like that, and what it actually meant for the 12 parsecs and how he was able to pull it off. So in like extended universe stuff, it is him, but they're going to take it away from him,
and that'll ruin it.
It's just something that'll piss me off. It'll be something that is
totally
just
ruined.
Like,
Lance should not see this movie. Lance should not see Episode 9. Lance should not see Solo. Lance should not see any of these Star Wars.
Not my Lando Calrissian.
Hey, he's pansexual.
Oh man.
So here's the thing, though. He made the Kessel Run, if he did or did not, in that ship, but it's not the same ship.
Well, no, it's the before he made the modifications.
Yes. When it was more aerodynamic.
You don't need aerodynamic in space.
All right, Lance and I agree on that one.
I mean, that's like the one thing I always loved about the Borg cube was that it was like, yeah, we don't. It could just be a cube. We don't need it to, you know, be anything special.
Somebody in the comments reminds you, Lance, that the RPGs in the extended universe are not canon.
I understand they aren't canon, but the fact, and that's why they can steal it. That's why they can take it away.
Which means, by definition, they're not taking it away from him.
Oh, you know what? Screw you. You know what I mean. And the thing is that it is well regarded by the vast majority of like the Star Wars fan base that Han Solo is one of the greatest pilots in the galaxy, and that is one of his claims to fame.
Not my Han Solo.
This is my complaint about the whole Solo movie in general is that they're gonna make Han Solo into like a superhero when he was just not. He was, you know, he was maybe by the end of the trilogy, but he was just some rogue type. He wasn't like a superhero, and they're going to make him, oh, the best pilot ever. He was just some guy. And in fact, somebody, I forget where I read this, but someone was saying that what they really should do is make a Lando Calrissian movie, because Solo, when we meet him, he's just some deadbeat in a bar, and nobody cares how somebody became a deadbeat in a bar. What we really want to know is, like, when we first meet Lando Calrissian, he's in charge of, like, a mining operation, a whole planet. He's like some complete badass. That's an interesting story, perhaps. Like, how did he get to be like that?
Well, I mean, you have to admit, you know, Han Solo did help destroy the Death Star. You know, he's got that going for him.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that shit before he met up with Obi-Wan and Luke. He was just trying to get away from a gangster that he owed money.
Yes, he saved he saved a Wookiee from being killed by Imperials.
I was actually curious if they're going to go into that in the movie, or if they, I mean, he's already buddies. Apparently, in the previews, he's already buddies with Chewie. I wonder if they're going to go into like how that happened.
You have
Who
to.
knows?
Otherwise, what else is going to be in this movie?
Who knows? They're going to screw it up.
Is Jabba going to be in the movie?
I doubt it. It's gonna be it sounds like a heist movie. They're like, I'm putting a crew together. Do you want to be? And he's like, I want to be the fastest pilot ever, blah, blah, blah. Or whatever. The best pilot in the universe. It's gonna be I don't know. It's gonna be like Gone in 60 Seconds or something. Or I don't know. What's some other movie? Here, wait, we need to figure out which movie it's gonna be a ripoff of, so that Lance can be like, it's the best Seven Samurais or whatever. What was that? What's the movie? Lance, what's the one that Rogue
One is a fantastic Dirty Dozen remake.
Dirty Dozen, yeah. So I'm curious which
The Good, the
movie.
Bad, and the Ugly.
No, Dirty Dozen.
I know, but
Saying the Solo. Yeah. Doubt it.
So what movie is Solo going to be a remake of?
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Maybe. Who's Lee Van Cleef? Woody Harrelson?
Ugly. I don't know. Woody Harrelson.
I don't know. From all the previews, it looks like Solo's gonna be like falling in with some crew that does heists or whatever.
Sure.
And so
I want you to believe.
That's what it looks like. I don't
I
know.
don't trust any
Trailer.
So, Anthony,
Yeah.
you were saying something about Avengers was not in the trailer, or with the something.
Oh,
in the
are you
trailer
guys
was
talking
not
about
in the-
Avengers? Because I'm gonna tune out for a minute if that's true. I haven't watched it. I don't really want to spoil it.
Okay, well,
So I mean that's fine. Go ahead. I'll just mute.
All right.
How do I mute?
You have to mute us. You can't.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, I'll just leave. All right. So in the trailer, when Wakanda is getting attacked, and they
Yeah.
show them all running,
Hulk.
is there,
Oh,
but he's not. He's not there in the actual movie.
right. You sure? Okay. It wasn't the Hulk.
No, he's actually the full Hulk running. You see, like the scene where they're all running in slow motion towards the thing,
Yeah.
and it's Cap.
Okay.
Hulk is in that group running, but he's not in the actual movie because he's in the Hulkbusters.
Yeah.
So did you hear the thing they're saying why he didn't become the Hulk? Someone was trying to say what actually was going on. I've heard different things, but this one was actually weird.
A fan theory?
Yeah. And people are like, no, idiot, because he somewhat half turns into the Hulk at some point. People kept trying to say that when in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
when Loki is talking, and all of a sudden Hulk comes flying through, that Loki is pretending to be Bruce Banner.
Oh no.
But and like all these people are like, oh yeah, well yeah, that makes sense. And all of a sudden someone goes, yeah, but what about when he's in the Hulkbuster and Hulk kind of half comes out? Like,
Yeah,
how would Loki do that?
Yeah, it was amazing.
He'll
No, Loki's dead. You
yeah,
can't show a character that many times in the movie.
he won't stay dead though. Just like everybody else, the Infinity Stones can bring him back.
So the other thing about
They don't need him
about the part 4 is apparently Hugh Jackman was seen on set with Wolverine hair.
Okay.
And then the other thing is because they've shown a couple of
The
clips.
comic?
Well, they've shown a couple of clips of like screenshots of stuff, filming.
Yeah.
And a couple of like concept things from the part 4, and it looks like when they go back in time to reset this thing, they actually go back to the Battle of New York.
Yeah, I've seen that there's like Ant-Man is in the Battle of New York.
Yeah, Cap is actually wearing this uniform, the first uniform, not the second uniform, in the scenes.
the Battle of New York being against
Pictures
against
From the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
um
Time travel
Well-
breaks movies.
yeah, it does.
So they basically go
Solves
back and
problems.
they at the Battle of New York, they do something different with Tesseract at the end.
Well, it's gonna be 3 hours long, they say.
Yeah, at least. And the other thing is one of the other pictures has, I don't know if it was Cap or Tony, the uniform, like what they're wearing, is the same exact uniform that the guards are wearing that take Loki away. So they're thinking that they go back there and someone goes and actually like helps Loki escape. So the whole timeline gets changed because of it.
Right.
But
I won't know. I'm not going to judge anything since they keep reshooting and editing and everything anyway. So they were doing it to the last minute on this one, I think.
So, all right. So, should we start making a guess who gets to kill Thanos?
Thanos won't get killed.
It's a character you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it's going to be Captain Marvel, probably, right?
No, but Thanos won't get killed. He will. It'll be one of those things where, just like in the comics, where he'll end up faking his death, and theoretically, Adam Warlock will finally be in it, or somebody else like Captain Marvel, and they'll go and find him. And
Adam Warlock is getting saved for Guardians 3.
Well, yeah, because we watched what did we watch the other night?
A lot of them.
We watched so many movies the other
And
night.
Guardians 2, the special, the bonus scene.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Adam Warlock, but the gold, whatever that planet is called that they're on, that is one of the main storylines in Galaxy 3.
Oh, okay.
They've already said that, so.
Right. Well, it kind of looks like the Cocoon.
Yeah.
Or a version of that Cocoon.
Yeah, and she calls him Adam, so I mean.
Yeah.
No, he won't get killed. I that's my personal belief, is that like they set him up enough to be well, and the only other option would be that it's Gamora, like his daughter has to kill him.
No, well, Witchclaw kills him in the comic.
His
other daughter.
In the comic.
His other daughter.
Nebula doesn't kill him in the comic.
Doesn't she get the gauntlet and kills him?
Nebula gets the gauntlet, but like she, if I remember correctly, like because he puts her in like a situation where she's in constant pain and like she can't move or whatever, and he's like torturing her, and then when he defeats Eternity, he goes out of his body, but his body's on the on the throne, and so what happens is that like he's like, I am everything, I am all that exists, and he's Eternity, but he leaves his body behind, and then Nebula removes the gauntlet and puts it on her. It's like she's like this shambling like mess of a zombie like lady or whatever, and so he reverts back to normal. She takes control, and she says, put everything back the way it was at X, and that brings everybody back alive. And Thanos is like, no, but then what she doesn't realize is that like she brings back all of the superheroes or whatever as well. And so like, you know, and then they fight her. And then she actually does beat them. I forget what happens, but somehow like she's just got unlimited power, so she can't ever really be beaten. Like she can't understand how to use like all the stones, you know, and so she fights them all. But like, and eventually she wins. And I'm trying to remember exactly what happens, but she doesn't kill him. She what happens eventually is that Adam Warlock gets the glove. He puts on the gauntlet, and they're like, well, what are we gonna do with Thanos? And then he says, well, you're not doing anything with me. And then he shows that basically he's got a nuclear bomb strapped to his on him that's gonna go off. And then Thor hits him with his hammer, and like he just goes off into space like thousands of miles away, and he explodes. And they're like, oh well, that's that. He's dead. And then the end of the comic is that Adam Warlock goes and tracks him down, and it's very much like the final scene in the movie where like he's working on a farm, and like he has like a scarecrow set up with his armor on it. You know, and he's just tending a farm, and Adam Warlock goes and talks to him. So, you know, and that's how that part ends. Later on, he comes back, like Adam Warlock, when the Living Tribunal, which is like the ultimate power of the universe, like the only thing that has more power than the person with the 5 stones, decides that, you wonder, why didn't you decide this before? Like Thanos like had it, but decided that having one person with all 5 stones is too powerful, and so they make Adam Warlock give up all the stones but one, and he actually gives Thanos one of the 5 stones, and to take care of. He like gives one to Drax, he gives one to Gamora. He has that weird like Pip the Troll guy that he chums around with. He gives one to him. So yeah, and they each have one of the stones, and they become like the Infinity Watch or whatever, the people that protect the universe and stuff.
Well, all right.
Why do I remember that stuff?
I don't know. Speaking of comic book movies, have you seen the trailer for New Mutants?
No.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah, I heard that. Oh no.
Wasn't that dumb?
It's a horror movie. It's the weirdest thing.
Yay. Woo. 200 points of Crypt Ghouls done. Well, not technically done. I gotta touch them up a little bit in coloring some of the different bone pieces, but for the most part, done. Base coat, shade, 3 different dry brush paints. Ugh. For an army, I probably won't ever play.
You see Deadpool 2?
I have not yet. It's
Okay.
on my. I gotta go see it, but it's like, I just don't have time.
All right.
What?
No, I can't say anything. You have to see
What?
it. It's funny.
Well, okay. I thought you were making fun of me because
No. It's just there's parts of it that are absolutely, you'll sit there and go, "What the fuck?" and you'd be like hysterical laughing.
Yeah, I was gonna go to it. Like it was one of the movies that Rebecca actually liked, the first one. So it was like we've been trying to figure out a time for us to go, but we're taking down and fixing up our fence. So we were thinking about going on Saturday last week, but we just didn't have time. And now I'm like, oh. It's weird. I don't usually care about going to movies, but like I actually kind of care about going to see that one in the movie theater. I actually kind of care about going to see Solo in the movie theater, even though I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't care about that one at all. But I feel like I should go because then my rage against it will be justified. That's when somebody points out that I'm making a self-fulfilling prophecy with it. So
Yes.
It's not your Solo.
not my
Not your
Solo.
soul.
Why do you mock me? You hate this shit too. Yeah, why do you feel the need to make fun of me for?
What about Thundercats? That new Thundercats show. What about that?
Who cares? I had a bigger problem with the people that were getting upset with the people that were upset about Thundercats. Like, it's like, oh, you're okay. This is something I wanted.
Before you start, I gotta go. I'll see you guys next week.
I'll see you at BGG South.
Okay.
Spring.
See you tomorrow.
All right. I'll be waiting for the limo to pick me up.
Okay.
Bye, Lincoln.
Hopefully it's not cold
Take care,
out.
guys.
See you later.
Yeah.
So here's something that's bugged me for a while. Why do we have to have all these weird words to describe when people are doing things? Like people are like, oh, all this gatekeeping people are having over this sort of thing really bothers me. I mean, when I have to look up what you have a problem with, like, what is it? I was like, what the hell does that even mean, gatekeeping? It's just like, and why can't you just say, I'm really getting annoyed by how people are being an asshole about this. Why can't you just call people assholes? No, it's like we got to use like words like gatekeeping and gaslighting and agency and just all this garbage that like I just people are either jerks or they aren't. I don't know why we can't just go that route, and I guess I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Am I crazy with this? Am I dumb? I mean, you're not saying anything.
No, you're not. because that's the whole thing. You have to point out where people are wrong and how everyone should, be allowed to do what they want, except if it's against what you wanted them to do, and then it's bad.
Well, so they're gonna do a brand new Thundercats cartoon, and it's gonna be like a really weird kind of shitty kids cartoon, not like we had when we had. Okay, fine, whatever. It looks dumb. It looks stupid. I don't watch broadcast television, so I'll never watch it. I mean, I don't have cable, which, it's just, that's the world I live in. I don't have cable TV. So it really doesn't affect me one way or the other. But, it's like, why can't people dislike stuff? Why? That's the thing that drives me crazy is that, somebody's taking it upon themselves to say, I'm really, I think this is stupid, and I feel like they're taking a poop on the cartoon that I grew up with, that I loved. That's a completely valid feeling. Nobody's coming into your house and saying, you can't enjoy this. Nobody's doing that. But we have to have, we have to just complain that people are complaining. At what point, do we kind of have the attitude of, it's like, that's fine. You don't have to like it. I'm going to watch it, and I'm probably going to really enjoy it because I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it looks dumb. I mean, in my opinion, like the trailer or the little teaser for it.
Yep,
it looks horrible.
No, it's like everything. It's like that Teen Titans Go show. My kids love it. And great, fine. I've watched it a few times with them, and I'm like, okay, this is so stupid. This show.
Yeah. Well, I watched. What was it? I watched Amazon Prime. All the seasons of Batman the Animated Series are on there. My son and I watch those constantly. Those are great. I don't know. It's weird that. I don't know. It's not good. It's I don't know. And the thing is that all I said is just have Mumra win just once. Let him win. That's the one thing I always felt was bad was that Mumra never had a chance. He just and it was I never understood shows like G.I. Joe or Thundercats or any of these where they had the big evil. They all or He-Man, the big evil. Their plans never worked. They never won. They were 0 for 1,000. Yet they kept trying, which is admirable in a weird way, as far as really, it's like your plan is that you're gonna make the kids hate reading books, and then Eternia will be stupid or something. It's the most convoluted, ridiculous plan you could possibly come up with. But they're gonna go for it, and they're gonna try as hard as they can to make it be their thing. And then it didn't work, and it's chalk it up for another loss. But they came right back next week, and they tried. And I just let Mumra win just once. He doesn't have to kill anybody. Just let him win one. Just one. I think that would be really nice.
Right, but that's when you can't do that on TV. You can't let the bad guys win, even if it's for an episode.
You know what's a good show is the new Voltron on Netflix. That's actually really good. If you haven't watched that, that is actually my son and I watched all of that, and that is fantastic. Well deserved, well made.
Well, I'll pass.
No, I mean you say that, but I mean if you watch it, it's it is clever. It is serious. It's as good as any serious anime you'll ever watch. And yeah, okay, it's about a giant robot and these lions that create it. But I mean, for the most part, it's actually about the characters and how they grow and change as the show progresses. And they do. It's really good. And the bad guys aren't really all like. I mean, they aren't like maniacal. Like every fiber of their being is bad. It's like they have like different levels of the things that they are. Well, I guess there's one that's just maniacal, overblown, crazy, bad, but all the rest of them have like different levels of like things, and it actually is. It's done. It's really well done. So, if anybody's listening to this and they want to watch something that's actually like good, I mean, like as far as like a kids show, the new Voltron, just it's on Netflix. It's got like 4 seasons. Really, really well done, and lots of little hidden stuff in the background too. Like you'll watch it and you won't notice like some of the little jokes and the little like asides. But if you watch it, you'll catch them and you'll be like, "Huh, that's actually pretty well done." So there you go. That's my pitch for. Hopefully, Netflix will send me a check or something for getting another view.
Hold your breath on that.
Here's a free month. We're giving you a free month for mentioning us. It's the free month we gave everyone this month, but
you know what company has actually really, really good customer service? Games Workshop has phenomenal customer service. Like,
so you were like the Games Workshop fanboy.
No, I mean like seriously, like I've had like I got a thing and it didn't have a base in it. You call them up, they put one in the mail, and you have it in 2 days. I mean, it's like, and it's like if they have an 800 number and you just call it. And I swear to God, it's like I get the same guy every single time. I worry that there's just one dude working.
It might be.
It might be. Yeah.
Because remember they used to have that one person at Fantasy Flight all those years.
Oh yeah, I remember her. But no, so yeah, that was like, and like, I ordered a couple of models, and they sent them and they just got lost, and I was like, yeah, I never got these, and like, they were just like, oh, it's like, oh, let me look at it, and it's just like, yeah, well, they could turn up, and I was like, oh, here we go, and they're like, but if they do turn up, great, you can keep them. I'll just order some new ones for you. And I was just like, yeah, well, one of them's out of stock now. And they're like, oh, well, it'll be in stock in like a week or 2 weeks. So I'll send you the one right now. I'll send it Express FedEx. I'll have it tomorrow. And then I'll send the other one FedEx Express as soon as it comes back in stock. And I'll email you I'll email you when it does come back in stock, so you know. And not like email me like, oh, hey, here's this pre-generated email. Like the guy like emails you directly. It's like, oh, hey, as for our conversation, so-and-so. It's like fantastic customer service. So there, now hopefully they'll send me some free stuff too.
It only took them 20 years to get it right.
You know who has great customer service? The people at Maserati. Maserati, fantastic customer service. If you ever get a Maserati, I can't recommend it enough. Maserati.
Uh-huh.
MGK 2020. You know whose paints taste the best? Games Workshop. The one thing I'm still waiting for, that I'm upset that I haven't seen, is that One Punch Man hasn't had a second season yet. I really want that to have a second season. And that's also on Netflix, and watching the first season of that is great. It is nihilistic. It's the premise.
You just got through talking about people using big words to things. Now you just brought nihilistic.
Well, because nihilistic isn't like some like weird made up
nihilistic. You gotta translate it for people in the chat. Don't
no, it's like, so basically it follows the exploits of One Punch Man, who is the superhero for fun. That's what he says. But he's so powerful that no matter what he fights, he kills them with one punch. So it's not a challenge for him anymore, and it just drives him crazy. That so he and it sounds stupid, but it is like it's just so good. It's well worth it, and they've been waiting for second season for that forever, and it hasn't come out. It's been like people waiting like 3 years for second season. So, nihilistic must be exhausting. Well called there, Lord Javi. That's Uli. He's a nihilist. He doesn't believe in anything. Nihilist must be exhausting. Big Lebowski. I don't know. Anything else interesting going on in anybody's life?
My son, we thought he broke his ankle today, but he didn't.
Well, that's good.
Fucking trampolines.
What happened?
Is it the trampoline's fault or your son's fault?
He's out jumping on the trampoline, and my daughter and her boyfriend all three of them are jumping, and like it just so happened that as he landed, her boyfriend landed, or he had just jumped, whatever, and he landed funny. Anyway, he's screaming. Go out there, and his like ankles look like almost like a softball. That's how swollen it was. I'm like, oh, freaking great! Now I got to go deal with this. So get him in the car, take him over to urgent care, take X-ray. It's only sprained, thank God. So my daughter's boyfriend is like all upset, like he's like really upset that he hurt him. And I'm like, no, Rico, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. He's like, no, I just feel really bad. I said, it's not your fault. I said, it's not his fault, not anyone's fault. But my mother-in-law for buying that damn trampoline.
Ow.
So.
Well, there you go. I mean, I know. Just wish I could get this stupid painkillers.
I know there's no list yet on BGG, but like, what's coming out at Gen Con that anyone's even heard of that's even sounds remotely?
I'm thankfully not caring.
I literally have like 3 things that are coming out this year that I'm even interested in at this point in time.
I think we'll have our remainder of Crusaders Deluxe there, hopefully, if we can get it out. Though I don't think it's gonna get. I don't think we're gonna get it from the ship in time. Which
but I already pre-ordered that. I already backed that, so that's not even.
Well, I know, but that's gonna be a really cool game. And you should be excited to own it. So there, that's what I have to say.
You know what game I'm really excited to get?
Tell me.
Michael Fox's game.
What's that?
Oh, 1 second. It's a game about a guy that's dying.
Nice upbeat theme.
Yeah.
And hold on 1 second. Do.
Was it like a bucket list type game or?
No, it's. I think he's a pretty shithead of a guy his whole life, and you're trying to make amends with people. It's called the Holding On: The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr. It just sounds fascinating because it's different.
So it sounds like it's just about some guy who his whole life
He told me about it like when he was first working on it. Let me see if there's a description on BGG.
I haven't seen him in so long. I'm really excited to see him at
right.
Origins.
Here we go. All you know is this. His name is Billy Kerr. He's 60, and he was admitted to your hospital following a massive heart attack on a flight from Sydney, Australia. Doctors give Billy days to live, but he's hanging on as if he can't or won't let go. Piece together Billy's troubled past to finally reveal the 3 hidden memories that keep him holding on. Holding On: The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr is a cooperative worker placement game featuring a compelling storyline that will be revealed to you as you play time and time again. But Also allow players to replay all previous scenarios to learn more and improve upon past attempts.
Well, that seems really happy.
That's the whole thing. You don't need the games don't have to be happy. Like literally, I have made a wish list of if people come up with designs for these games and pitch them to me that I want to make them. Like if someone can come up with a game about like the civil rights movement, I want to make that game.
I don't know about that one. There'd be a lot of baggage with that one.
See, the thing is, I was talking to a few people about it. I said the thing about making a game like that is you're basically making a game saying, well, I could have done it better than Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or whoever at the time, which kind of is like a weird thing about it. But that's basically how war games work. You know, they're based on a real battle or, you know, a real set of battles. And it's like, okay, we all know what happened. What would you have done differently if you were one of the people on the field?
I know what Martin Luther King would do. He wouldn't get shot. Bobby Kennedy too. No, I hear you. I still think it's a sensitive topic, you know.
Why do you say that?
Topic? And that's the point. It's a game, but it makes you feel something, kind of like the way, you know, The Last of Us makes you feel something.
Oh, I didn't feel anything playing that. Well, yeah, but I mean, see, now you're getting into that weird thing. Are board games works of art? You know,
It doesn't be a work of art. I'm not saying it's an artistic thing. It's just it can be something other than, oh, are we having fun? Because I played Freedom of the Underground Railroad like a whole bunch of times. I've never sat there and said, "Am I having fun?" Like, no, I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Do you have fun while playing Freedom Underground?
Did I have fun playing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I had fun. I enjoyed playing. Except the first time I played, I didn't enjoy that game.
Isn't that having fun then? If you enjoyed it?
No, it doesn't mean you're having fun. You can watch a movie about the Holocaust and go, "I enjoyed that movie." It doesn't mean you had fun,
Okay, I see that. I get where you're
right?
Like,
Yeah.
Like, I was entertained. I was entertained. And I wouldn't necessarily say having fun. Like it's I'd love if there was a game like based on like Schindler's List.
What about what's that one game about waiting in line for your food?
Kolacheka?
Yeah.
The Polish game, waiting in line.
Yeah.
It basically means queue. Yeah, you're in communist Poland and you're just waiting in line to get basic necessities.
And you can't get everything, and
yep.
The same thing was in this war of mine. You know, it was a pretty amazing computer game, but then the board game was just as like, oh yeah, this is depressing.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be about, oh, we're having fun. Look, that guy looks like a monkey in a suit. Ah.
You're just so hardcore that like.
And I want a good game about the Tijuana cartel.
The Tijuana.
The Tijuana cartel became where El Chapo came out of.
Oh, okay.
It's a really cool story, by the way. Really interesting story that what happened with that whole thing.
I was thinking the Cali cartel. All right.
Yeah, it's a more interesting story than what's his name?
Pablo.
Pablo had more money though.
Pablo had a shit ton of money.
But it's just quite interesting the whole how the cartel started.
Oh yeah.
And the whole thing about so basically the guy who ran the cartel went to jail and basically took the whole territory and split it into 3. And he gave each of his highest ranking guys a section to be in charge of from there and forward. And then the section that El Chapo ended up with, he didn't get it originally. Someone else had it, and then they got knocked off, and then El Chapo took it over. He got like the worst of the 3 territories, but he got like the least patrolled border of the 3 territories. He had all the desert stuff, like all of New Mexico and Arizona. These 2 brothers, the Felix Arellano brothers, had the California, so they had the closest route in, and then the other guy on the opposite side had the route into Texas. And all 3 of them were very different how they did things.
Well, you seem to know a lot about it. Why don't you make the game?
Because that means I have to design a game. I have all the stuff and the facts to keep it realistic.
Yeah.
I'm the historian in that scenario. It would actually be a good coin game.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Well, why don't you design a coin game then?
You know what? Why don't you design a coin game?
I'm not the one over here saying I got all these ideas for it would be a good
Oh,
game.
I said I'd like to have one.
That you want to be some weird.
That's like saying I'd like a blowjob, and then you go, "Oh, blow yourself."
Manners.
What?
Come on.
It's after midnight.
After
Well, here it
midnight
is.
radio.
Here
We
it
got
is.
a midnight rule. Didn't get the memo.
You can't just come right in like when you start, like, "Hey, good evening, everyone." Blowjob joke.
You got to warm the crowd.
You gotta ease into it. You gotta like, convince them that
Got to lube it up first. Okay.
yeah.
Well, it was. Can I tell Never mind. I'm not gonna tell the joke. I was gonna tell the joke. Never mind. Anyway, moving on. I was looking for a good. This is a miniatures thing, and I'm gonna bug people with a miniatures comment here. If you are painting minis and you want to paint like my ghouls, like here, maybe I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this or not, but I'm painting my ghouls right now. I gotta click on my camera so I can actually see what I'm doing here. So I'm painting. You probably can't see. Anyway, so you can kind of see I'm trying to paint these like red hands on them and stuff. So they're like ripping people apart, and so it shows that like they're being all evil. So I didn't know about this stuff until somebody told me about it. So like Blood for the Blood God's a pretty good thing, but it's like super expensive. Well, expensive for what you get. But this stuff is super cheap comparatively. It's like these Tamiya paints.
Oh, Tamiya, yeah.
Tamiya, and this is clear red is what it's called. And it is, in my opinion, it gives you a brighter, more vivid red than Blood for the Blood God, which is I'm having a lot of fun using this stuff and on my models. So and it's normally used for like model cars and things like that.
Yep.
But
they do all the like RC cars and all that other boats and all that good stuff.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Works really well.
There you go.
Get the clear red. Don't get the like the red, because this is like it's supposed to be kind of like so you can kind of see the colors underneath it. And
It's semi-transparent.
Yeah, there you go. What you said. You got anything that's been grinding your gears there, Barry?
Yeah, gay people on TV.
Oh my God, jeez, no,
You were like a blowjob joke.
Time out. Now, come on, that's the I don't want to be that guy. That was an extremely kind of insensitive thing that you just said right there.
No, hear me out. I watched a couple shows. I don't remember what they were exactly, but they had these gay people on the show. But it was kind of like black and Hispanic people in the 90s where they were just there to be there. There was no plot for them. They were just there. And I've been noticing that a lot lately. Why? I understand you want to represent gay people on TV. It's fine, but have them do something.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that.
I don't know what show you're referring to.
I can't remember now. There was a couple.
I kind of know what understand what you're trying to say. Like I don't know what your thing is. Like it's the hey, look how diverse we are.
Yeah.
But not really being diverse.
Right.
It's kind of like I always joke around that like from the late 90s through the 2000s, how every Disney show, TV show, if the main character was white, their best friend was black, and if the main character was black, their best friend was white.
Right.
Thing. Like no one had like, why can't the white main character have a white best friend or a Chinese best friend? It was always one and then the other. And someone's like, that's not true. I'm like, okay, let's go through the shows. That's so Raven. She's black, best friend's white. Corey in the House. He's black, best friend's white. And like every show, like even the ones like the more recent ones, like, oh, they changed it. I'm like, oh, really? Good luck, Charlie. Both kids, they have 4 kids, but the 2 older kids, both white, both best friends are black. It's kind of like, all right, yeah, we all get along. Everyone gets along, and that's nice. But it's like, it almost seems like there's this formula you have to put in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I mean, like they joke about it in movies, like, oh, it's a movie, it's a horror movie, or it's a movie where there's an animal that's killing people. Oh, look, here's the people that are abandoned here. There's 6 white people and there's 1 black person. Who's dying first?
Right.
And they used to even make fun of it in like the parody movies about it. But it's like that's not diversity. Just sticking somebody in just so you can say, oh look, well, we have a diverse group. Is one of those things. And I guess that's kind of what you're saying. Like I said, I didn't see it. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
What it is, but yeah, it's the, oh look, yeah, we're in here, and all of a sudden, there's got to be someone who looks different there to show that we tried.
Yeah, like I said, I can't remember. There was a couple shows, but I can't remember what the hell they are now.
I will say this: I think it's better that they're on the show than not. I mean, I think I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you do need to show diversity, and because I think it is important that like those roles are portrayed and with and I mean I once again I get what you're both saying, but
right, but give them a part.
Yeah, give them a plot.
Let them be part of the thing, not just window dressing. Just say, hey, look.
Well, and then also I think it's like, and I think TV shows have gotten a lot better about it, but also like, just if like, don't make it a thing that they're gay at all. Like, okay, fine, they're gay. It's not their defining characteristic though.
Right. And that's the thing, because like, and I would tell people, I'm like, when they go, oh, well, you don't know, there's no, lesbian, gay, transsexual people in this game. Like, how do you know?
Yeah.
Like I worked with 2 guys, who owned a physical therapy company, and the 2 head people who ran the place, both Greek. One of them was gay, and one of them was straight. And when you meet them and you know that one of them is gay and one of them is straight, the one who is very, he talks like this all the time because I don't think we should do this because, and the other guy's like, well, what do you think we should do? Because this, the guy who's the flamboyant one is actually the straight one. And the guy who, talks like everybody else, he's like, hey, I'm going to fix your hand today. No. And it's like, why do you know? Like, it's not my place to go, oh, excuse me, are you gay? So, like, you're looking at a picture of somebody on a piece of art in a game that's, it looks like a man, looks like a woman. How am I supposed to know what that person's sexual orientation is?
Right.
I don't know.
That's the point. But that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, how do I make somebody who is art in a game look gay without making them look stereotypical?
Right.
It is important that that we do have that as part of our thing, though. I mean, I do think that it is very important that we celebrate the differences and things like that. If you
Oh
understand.
yeah, I agree with that. But
No, we all agree with that. It's just the how you do it.
like the show, and I can't remember what it was. Station 19 or something. It was about firefighters. They made it a point to say this guy was gay, and then he just left him there. I mean, they could have
burn.
They could have went further into detail in one of the later episodes or something, but and then there was another one.
Like there's no context of why they had to point out the fact that he was gay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like, oh, the victim, that's his boyfriend over there. Which would have at least had some context, not just the fact that, oh, yeah, that's Bob, he's gay.
Yeah. It's like, what does that have to do with the rest of the show?
I've said it on here before. Like, I don't have gay friends. I don't have black friends. I don't have Asian friends. I have friends.
You don't have any friends.
No, but I have friends. I don't refer to them. I don't go, my black friend. Like, no, you're my friend. I know you're black, and it's not like I'm not colorblind, but I'm like, that's not what defines you. Is you're my friend.
Yeah.
Like if you were my only black friend, then I could say my black friend because you're the only one. But I mean, it's like my friend. Oh, that's my friend. That's my friend Lance.
Well, I would go.
You could say my Norwegian friend Lance.
Well, no, you're not Norwegian.
Oh, mostly.
You're not from Norway. Your family's from Norway. I don't go. There's my hairy friend Lance.
Thinking I gotta cut the hair.
I actually had a dream the other night that you cut your hair and you shaved. Like, you didn't shave your beard off, but you like cut it down. And I was like, "Holy crap!"
It's just I'm at this point where it's like I'm in my late. I mean, I'm moving into my late 40s. Maybe I'm not supposed to have long hair anymore. Just.
You finally want to grow up?
No, that's not it. I mean, I've had long hair like since I was like 18, which is a really long time. I don't know. Might be just time to turn a new corner or whatever. Do something.
I don't think he's saying he's going like business suit.
Oh no. I mean I'm not shaving my head or nothing.
No mohawks.
No mohawks
with the spikes.
Though I should. If I'm gonna cut it, I might as well do one. Show up and have like go to Gen Con and have like a giant mohawk.
No, the thing is, you shouldn't cut it and have what you have now put into a giant mohawk.
Well, and the thing
have
is,
like 5 foot long.
The hair is receding, right? So it's like I mean, I might as well. Nature's probably going to finally take it away from me at some point. I might as well make the decision, and instead of letting genetics take it. But I don't know. That's what the Bret Michaels bandana is for, I guess, right?
So
Yeah.
he can rock the cool skullet.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was thinking about? Yeah, I don't know. It's like weird. It's like I'm officially not going to Dice Tower Con. I was like really happy that I wasn't. Not that Dice Tower Con's a bad convention. It was really fun, but it was kind of like just I don't have to worry about going to that convention in July. I was like actually really pleased that I
Yeah,
didn't.
and then I had to cancel my plans to go.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
so selfish, Lance.
It's too hot anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why they would do it in July, especially on the weekend of the 4th. Yeah.
Well, that's just it. That's the part that I think it's crazy.
I mean, to an extent, I get it. They get a 4-day weekend and all that, but
It's also the first week that everybody is off.
yeah.
So you can come from wherever, anywhere. Your kids are out of school, regardless of where you are.
That's true. Yeah. But let's go to the most humid, hot place in the country.
Yeah,
It's indoors. You're not going out anywhere.
dude, you have to go outdoors so much to get anywhere, though.
No, you stay in the hotel. You're in the
Yes.
hotel, and you're
Yeah,
don't leave
you
the
do know
hotel.
how the hotel works, right?
Oh, well, you have to go outside a little bit. That's not best.
Yeah.
Unless you stay in the tower, then you can just.
No, because the convention area, there's a big parking lot you have to cross over.
Yeah, I think I actually stayed at that hotel once. It's up by the pool and all that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I saw Daryl Andrews and Eric Lang riding the water slide together in tandem. That was amusing for me. But you know what? They didn't look. They looked like they were having a blast, and I bet the pool was very nice on that hot day. And I have to admit I was a little bit jealous.
You didn't go down the slide?
I didn't bring my swimsuit, so it was kind of tough, So. I was too busy. The thing that stunk was like it was like okay, so it's like I'd be like I get done playing a game or something, and I'd be wandering about, and I'd run into. I mean, that's the thing is like I would always run into like Mark Sirens or Patrick Siebert and all these people like sitting around drinking beer outside because it was so hot that everybody was just like hanging on these little like patios and drinking beer because like even the rooms were hot, but it would like the sun would go down and it was still kind of muggy, but they would just go outside and drink beer. The beer would go like if it was ice cold, it would be lukewarm in a half an hour. It was so hot outside. It was just like everybody was drinking all their alcohol as fast as they possibly could, and then.
I know I'm Irish and all, but there's another way to drink it than as fast as you can.
So I mean, it was just I don't know. It was like I said, it was a nice convention. I played a lot of games, saw a lot of people that I had a lot of fun with, but I'm not sad I'm not going. I'd rather shoot off fireworks with my kids, blow up half the town or whatever.
I haven't done that in a while.
Hoodlum.
Yeah.
Hoodlum. Yeah, you know it, baby. Well, Minnesota, it was illegal to shoot off fireworks for the longest time, but Governor Jesse Ventura passed the law, made it you could shoot off fireworks over the 4th of July or the 4th of July observed weekend or whatever. You were allowed to shoot off fireworks in the grand state of Minnesota.
Because he ain't got time to bleed.
Well, he didn't have time to bleed. That guy got to be a kook and a goofball later on in life. Well, even more so, I guess. Is that conspiracy show he hosted, and like he was like a 9/11 truther, and
oh, do you want to see annoying wrestler doing something else? Have you watched the Forged in Fire spin-off show?
No.
Hosted by Goldberg?
No.
Oh my god, he's so annoying.
I don't even know what Forged in Fire is.
So Forged in Fire is a show on the History Channel where they bring in not guys who make knives, blacksmiths and stuff, and they basically have 3 hours to make a knife that they tell them the parameters, and it's kind of like Chopped for making weapons.
Do they ever say that's not a knife? This is a knife?
No. So they make the knife. Usually, sometimes they have to make it. Last night they had to make them out of motorcycles. They had to get all their metal from a motorcycle. So they have 3 hours to make the actual knife, and then someone gets cut, and then they get down to 3. Then
By
they
the
have
knife?
No. Then they have to finish it off, finish the knife. They do testing on it. And then after that, they get down to 2, and then they send the 2 guys who won, who are advanced, home to
Knife
their
fight.
own forges. Yeah, Knife Fight's the one with Goldberg. But so then they have 5 days to recreate a weapon that they tell them they have to recreate. So they have like really cool stuff. Then they come back and then they do like a kill test. They hang up like, a full pig carcass. And the guy who's the martial arts expert will like just go to town on it and cut it in half and stuff. But so that show is really interesting. I like watching that. So they started doing the knife fight one. So basically it's like competitive knife thing. And Goldberg is so freaking annoying. He's got that he still has that stereotypical wrestler interview voice.
The growly?
He's gonna have to go in there full blast. Oh my god, shut up.
Does he go in there full blast?
I don't know. He's just annoying. I don't see Knife Fight coming back for another season.
And why is everything like a competitive show, a competitive reality TV show now?
Why? Because they get tons of viewers.
Really?
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't be on TV if you weren't watching it.
Nah, that's true. I thought we would move past that after 20 or 30 years.
For me, it's the my wife loves the HGTV stuff.
Yeah, so does mine.
Just the whole like, oh, we're gonna turn your patio into a blah 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 blah, and it's like.
Here's what makes no sense about those shows to me. I like watching them. I like watching. There's one with the guy does the pools.
Yeah,
you seen this show? So he does pools. It's him, his mother, his father, and a couple of other guys. So the thing that's weird is they do these like insane pools, and he's like, "Well, for this job, I'm gonna need I have a $400,000 budget, and I have 17 weeks to finish it."
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, whatever. And you see, they do the progress, and they show like, this is this, and not obviously being done. It's being done over time. But I sit there and go, there's 5 people on this crew, and it's taken them 17 weeks to finish this pool.
Nah, they don't show you the other.
No, but the point is, it takes 17 weeks to build this pool. How many pools are they doing in a year to be able to do a whole season's worth of shows?
Yeah, I asked Jen about there. Apparently, there's more than one crew, like the contractor, I guess you would call them. Because I asked Jen the same question. The one I saw wasn't 17 weeks; it was like 2 months or something. She said, "No, there's like 3 or 4 of them that they follow."
Well, as many as the TV show needs them to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you doing all of these things if you're supposed to be there for 17 weeks working on this pool?
Even that, why would somebody spend that much money on a pool? I mean, that's what disgusts me about that channel in particular.
Well, that's the way they've always been since these shows started. They'd have these ones. Well, we're going to renovate this bathroom, and what's your budget? We want to spend somewhere like 75 to 150,000.
Yeah, new house.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's ungodly. I didn't realize, that many people had that much money.
Well, of course they have that much money, otherwise they wouldn't be on the show.
Yeah, but
Well, my budget's $7,000. You know,
Yeah.
get out of here. Well, you said you'd help me. Get out. I mean, that's just. And the thing is that I was reading a lot of that stuff about like the House Hunters ones and stuff like that. How like that's just all faked. I mean, it's just like the whole thing. It's like they've already bought the house, and they're already like living in the house that they end up picking, But they're just like, oh, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna look at this thing and that thing out there, and yeah, it's been done a long time. They're just they found some, or like the people that are looking at the houses aren't even the people that bought the house because they had to pick people that were like photogenic, for the show, stuff like that. Yeah. But just let us use your house, so we can we can show it as a house that you purchased. Or
All right, so here's an example of how the popular the show is. On Tuesday, May 15th, these are the top 50 cable shows on that day. Now, mind you, the NBA playoffs was on that day. The NBA draft lottery was that day. NHL conference finals, number 7 most watched show. Oh, SmackDown was also that day. SmackDown was number 4. Deadliest Catch was number 7. Chris Lee's Knows Best was number 9. And Forged in Fire, number 14. It was the 14th most watched thing on that day.
Wow.
SmackDown's going to Fox.
And Night for Death was 19 because it's Forged in Fire's lead-in show.
I just, like I said, I don't get the reality TV shit. I never really did.
That's because it isn't real.
Yeah, even so. I miss like Bob Vila and
Also not real.
Yeah.
No, like Bob Vila himself was not real. That wasn't an actual person.
Oh, he was a actor.
He was a puppet.
He was CGI.
3 midgets in a trench coat.
You know what I'm sad about is that the Bob Ross show is at the end of May is going off of Netflix. So if you like watching Bob Ross paint, you got just a little bit of time left in May to watch him on Netflix.
I got all scooped up in the Deadpool 2 advertising they were doing that I went and bought a copy of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Deadpool on the cover. And I did get the Deadpool Bob Ross Funko.
Just a happy little tree. That is my like if I can't fall asleep at night, that is my go-to.
The happy little trees.
When I used to work nights, I used to watch him all day long when I was home. I sit there and just have Bob Ross on. He'd do like 4 or 5 episodes in a row and just sit there and watch him all day.
He's yeah. I like the episodes where he shows off his squirrel friends that he has.
And maybe he's got a little friend that lives right there. Yeah, just put him in there.
And it's just like let's give that tree, let's give that big fella a little buddy who lives next to it, or whatever. Yeah, just great.
When we take this, remember there's no mistakes, just happy little accidents.
I want to own a Bob Ross painting. They're super expensive.
Let's get a little phthalo blue, crimson,
little phthalo blue, Prussian blue. What is the I forget the crimson. Burnt umber, black gesso,
and little white, and just cut it in like that, and
titanium white,
and let's go. Oh,
yeah, that's another grip I got.
Right here.
Paint. Jen and I are doing some work on the house, and she wants to paint the exterior. So I put in a new door in the garage, like the side entrance door. So what color do you want? She said red. I said, all right. So we go to, I think it was Home Depot.
She wants to paint the door red or the house red?
She wants to paint the door red and the house like a slate gray, like
Okay.
a darkish gray.
Mhm.
And then I think she said white trim. So we go to Home Depot and there's 5,000 fucking decisions you got to make. You know, the 60 different shades of the color, first of all. And then, like, when I was in the construction game, it was you had flat, semi-gloss, high gloss. Now there's 15 more added to that. You know, there's interior and exterior, and then there's paint and primer one. Why did paint get so fucking complicated?
Because of all of these reality shows.
Is that it?
Yes.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Like white, there's 17 different shades of white.
And the other thing, too, is you had to come up with, like, weird names for everything.
Yeah.
Like, I remember growing up, I can tell you the colors of the rooms in the apartment that we grew up in. Because my mother always repainted them the same color.
Right.
Like, the walls in the living room were tangerine. The walls in her bedroom were celery. All the ceilings were eggshell. My room was skyline blue, and the kitchen had wallpaper.
Right.
What color wallpaper?
Oh, that changed a few times. Different things. But I remember the color tangerine it was. It wasn't like, you know, Midnight Oasis 4.
People like options.
It's the same fucking color.
It's fine. Like, I remember literally going and things were like called like Orange 2, Orange 3, Orange 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in 1948, Chris. Jackass.
Hey.
I have 58 days left in my 40s.
Counting down, baby.
Yeah. 58 days.
And then what are you going to do?
I'm going to be 50.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're 10 older. I got... How many's in my 30? Yeah. 6. I got 11 days in my 30s.
God. Kids.
I know.
Yeah, growing old's not so bad.
Well, see, that's the thing, too, about stuff. I see people, like, talk about stuff and, like, they don't understand things. And I'm like, I don't want to pull the whole, well, back in my day. Because things were a lot different.
Yeah, they were.
Like, I grew up when I was a kid, like, starting school. It literally was right after the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
You know, and I was in high school during the whole AIDS outbreak. So things were different. People were treated differently. People don't understand that the fact that the whole AIDS outbreak basically vilified the gay community.
The gay people, yeah. It did. The crack epidemic did the same thing to the blacks.
Because it's like, well, can't go near gay people. You're gonna get the AIDS.
Yeah.
And now we laugh about it, but it was like people felt that way. You know?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but that's the whole thing. It's like you don't think about it now because everyone's got like my kids, all their friends are all everywhere across the whole spectrum of thing, and it's like no thing. Like when I grew up, there was literally 2 black kids in my school, in my grammar school.
Hey, they just said, what is it? Maui Chris said, hey, in 58 days, you can get free coffee at McDonald's.
Oh, let me know which days you're working there, Chris. So I can say hello. Jackass. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like, it's a whole different perspective you have of people and things. Like my kids never saw that late 70s. Oh, okay. Now all of a sudden, these neighborhoods where, we were all the same because that's how things were, and it wasn't because we people wanted it that way. That's what happened. Like you came to the U.S., you all lived in one neighborhood in Manhattan, if you're from New York,
Right.
and then somebody moved to one of the boroughs, and then told every one of their friends, and then everybody else moved there. Like literally, the street I lived on in the Bronx, when my parents first moved there, within like the first 5 years, my grandparents and parents lived over there. Within the first 5 years, half of that block were the same people who lived on their street in Manhattan, because they all moved. Oh, how's things up in the Bronx? Oh, it's good. Oh, what neighborhood you live in? I live in Pelham Bay. I live in this street. Oh, there's an apartment open, and people moved, and that's how it was. You didn't have an Italian neighborhood because the Italians didn't want to let anybody else in. It was just like someone moved there and told somebody else, and then someone else went there, and then the Irish family moved to a different neighborhood and told all their Irish friends, and they all moved to the same neighborhood. Like I don't think people like get that. Like I don't know what like dealing. Like I grew up in that time. I couldn't go back to like the 20s and live in that time or understand what these kinds of things were like then. There's a different perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to my nephew a little bit about that. Like, I don't understand, and I didn't think I'd get this way, but this generation is so much different from mine and before. A lot of this is social media, I think, but I was trying to talk to him a little bit about it because I just watched that 13 Reasons Why on Netflix, and it kind of explained a lot to me. But he's just like, we were laughing at it like it was a joke. Why are all these people killed themselves and shit like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like even like things like racism and stuff. I have friends who I went to high school with who I know I've talked to them about talking to their kids about stuff. And a lot of times they were like, you don't even know what racism is.
oh yeah, they have no clue.
Like you don't even understand.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's different. You still have your issues and problems. There's new things to have to deal with, but it's not the same kind of thing that somebody else dealt with.
Right. It was a lot more violent back then.
Well, it was a lot more, quote unquote, acceptable.
Yeah,
back then.
it's true.
And that's the problem, and that's because it was acceptable because it was, you thought so much less of these people. It's just that no one cared if you talk like that,
right?
And that's a different thing. It's a different, you have people who, don't know. They were not there. They don't understand. Things have changed. There's stuff that goes on now that I never happened when I was a kid, so I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I'll admit it, I don't understand.
Yeah, that's true. Weird time.
Yeah.
Even the gay thing, like I knew people who hid that they were gay because they were afraid for their lives growing up. Back when they used to get beat up all the time if they even said you were gay. I tried to explain that to my nephew. He couldn't grasp that. Again, because the times changed so much, I guess.
Yeah. When I was in my sophomore year of college, so it's 88. Yes, I'm that old, Chris. Shut up. So I'm there, and like they had a lot. This is again, the AIDS epidemic is going on and everything, and we go into class one day, and there's these two rather large African American gentlemen in the front of the room. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And the teacher had invited these two gentlemen to come in and speak to us about stuff. And they're talking, and then we're sitting there like, okay, he's talking about, growing up, and he's dealing with racism and everything. And he didn't mention racism, right? He's just talking about this whole thing. And we're sitting there. And then all of a sudden I realize that they're gay. And he said something, and I remember it clearly because he's like, I had the advantage because no one would pick a fight with me.
Right.
But he would tell about, and we all knew, someone was, even if you weren't gay, if you were even like slightly effeminate, they called you all sorts of things and they would beat you up. And he's like, so anyone who, when they found out, and they had picked me for some other reason, had to go and come to the realization that they got beat up by a gay man.
Right.
And he's like, but what does it matter? And I was like, yeah, you're right. What does it matter? You got beat up because you were an idiot and tried to pick on someone you shouldn't have picked on in the first place. But I don't know. Different time, different people, different attitudes.
Different world.
But is it for the better? Sometimes I wonder about that.
But it's different. The thing about now is you have to think that this new generation has the will and a desire to make the world a better place. The problem is, do they understand what it actually takes to do that? You can't just being nice to people and treating people right doesn't make the world a better place.
What does make the world a better place? Love.
There's lots of things that make the world a better place. But see, this is the other problem I have with arguments today. You were talking about, people arguing about things. I can't stand when you argue something with a point that is not the same thing. And I'm not saying giving an example of something, because I do it all the time. I had an argument with someone the other day. They were talking about how, about guns being banned and all that. There's nowhere in the world, nowhere in this country that you need to have this many bullets. And I said, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. I said, what kind of car do you drive? And they told me what kind of car. And I said, what's the speedometer go up to? They're like, I don't know, 120. I said, do you know there's nowhere in the U.S. that's legal to drive over 75 miles an hour? So why should your car be able to go 130 miles an hour? They're like, what? I said, so what if they said, okay, only cars for the police department, fire department, FBI, ambulances, such and such, emergency vehicles only, have the ability to go over 75 miles an hour. Would you be okay with that? They're like, yeah, but I said, no. Would you be okay with that? Because the only people who would need to go over 75 miles an hour are those people. Oh, but what if I have to get somewhere and it's an emergency and I have to go? I said, you are still required to drive the speed limit.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
I said, so again, if someone drives 110 miles an hour and kills a bunch of people, again, not exactly the same thing, but I'm saying 110 miles an hour kills a bunch of people, and they turn around and say, okay, you know what? This is enough. These people driving crazy. Every car has to be taken in. We're going to put a restrictor plate on every car so the cars cannot go over 75 miles an hour. Are you going to be happy with that? You did nothing wrong. You've never gotten a ticket in your life. They're like, well, that's not the same thing. I'm like, well, it kind of is. And then I made the point. I said, how long have you been driving? And they told me. And I said, I bet you there's somebody who got certified for their handgun license the same day you got your driver's license. And I bet you if I grabbed both of you right now and took you down and made you both retake the test, they would pass and you would fail.
Right.
Like, well, it's not the same thing. I'm like, no, it isn't the same thing because most people, again, not everybody, but most people who go through the trouble of getting a license for a gun and go through the certification and all that actually keep up with that stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff they have to do for the certification, they do because they want to make sure that their gun is handled properly, that they go to the range and they use it safely. But you, moron, could not pass your driving test right now.
Did you call moron?
Yes. And they shut up. But now is that something that, yes, it's something, it's not exactly the same thing, but you can kind of see what I mean. What bothers me is people who go, well, so-and-so came to this country as an immigrant. I'm like, so-and-so did not come illegally into the country as an immigrant. My grandparents came here as immigrants. And they came here and they had to go through a process. They had to sit there. They had to get paperwork filled out. They had to check in. They had to go and get a job. They had to go and speak English. They had to go and do this. They had to go. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Immigration is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. People should be allowed to immigrate here. But immigration is not coming and staying illegally. And that's regardless of where you're coming from. You know, whether it's you're coming from Mexico, you're coming from Canada, you're coming from China, you're coming from wherever. I had to go to India for work. And what a friggin' ordeal to get a visa to go there for work.
On our end or their end?
Their end.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's lots of rules. Like, even if you go there, like, for a week, like, we have, a company there that we work with that does work for us. So that's what we went for. We went to actually train them on they work in our system. So we went to go train them. But even if I went for a week, like, I can get a visitor's visa easier than a working visa. But I had to get a working visa because I was going to be there in a work capacity. And if I had gone, I couldn't even get on the property without a work visa. Like, if I only had a visitor's visa, I can't just, like, stop in to say hello and see them. I have to be there with a work visa. And it's a whole hassle to go through it. And that's not even permanent. That's going for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Huh.
But it's not like it's any different anywhere else. No countries have these, like, lax immigration policies.
Right.
They all have them. So it's not the same thing. Yes, so-and-so came here as an immigrant. True. So-and-so came here and became a citizen. So-and-so didn't come here and then stay when they were supposed to leave. I tell people, like, some people who just won't let it go, I'm like, do me a favor. Go get yourself a visa and go to Europe. Pick a country. Anyone you like. Get a visa for a month. It says you're going to be there for a month working. And then stay. And don't tell anybody. And as soon as you're found, they're going to throw you in jail.
Yeah.
And then they're going to deport you.
Yeah, it's true.
Even Uzbekistan?
Even that one.
Even Uzbekistan. Remember, we're the country that gave citizenship to hundreds of Nazi scientists after World War II.
Yeah, we did.
So,
Well, that's what helped to put us on the moon.
helped us do a lot of things, but that's the reality of it. And then, like, people getting all bent. I know you guys talk about the national anthem when I came in before. I was talking to someone about that today, and they were like, "Oh," I said, "You realize you're talking about a league that fined Jake Plummer $5,000 per game for wearing a sticker on his helmet to honor his teammate who died in Afghanistan."
Yeah.
I was saying, isn't this a more appropriate way to show your, whatever it is you're trying to show by taking a knee? You don't have to be on the sideline anymore. That used to be the rule. You had to be on the sideline. You don't have to be there. You also don't have to be in your seat as a fan during the national anthem. So what's more of a statement? 4 or 5 people kneeling on the sideline, or no one standing on either sideline and half of the stadium empty? Not because they're not at the game, because they're not standing in their seats during the national anthem. What's a more poignant statement?
Yeah, that was kind of my whole thing, but I don't know. You said weird times.
But again, you have the people on the other side, like, oh, but you have to stand. You have to stand for the national anthem. You don't have to stand for the national anthem. You're like, oh, you're disrespecting the soldiers. I'm like, the soldiers will tell you, we fought so you wouldn't have to stand for the national anthem.
That's my biggest thing too. Is they're like, it's just like, well, I saw some people state, well, I hope more of them still kneel. And I was just like, yeah, it's easy to spend their money, isn't it?
Well, people are offering to pay the fines.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no,
you don't have to be on the field. No, it's beautiful. You have a Sunday game, and not all the the places show it. But could you imagine, like, Kelly Clarkson is coming to sing the national anthem, and they're going to show it on the TV, and there's not a single freaking person standing on the sideline, and half of the seats look empty. That looks worse than a couple of people yelling on the sideline.
Oh, I said from the get-go, I thought it was just, why? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Kneel, stand, do jumping jacks.
Well, no, but that's the point. But they'd be like, well, they can't tell them what to do. I'm like, they damn straight can tell them what to do. They tell them what kind of shoes they can wear. They tell them what they can have put on their arms. They can tell them what color the towels they have on for the day is. That's all part of the league's rules. They can do whatever they want. And then I pointed out a thing. I said, what's the stupidest rule in baseball? Has nothing to do with the actual gameplay. What's the stupidest rule in baseball?
I always thought the whole third strike, catcher drops the ball, you can still get to try to run to first.
No, it's nothing to do with gameplay. It's the stupidest rule in baseball.
But I think that's the stupidest rule.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Stupidest rule in baseball. Everybody but the trainer has to be in uniform. Like, I give a fuck if Tommy Lasorda is wearing fucking stirrups on his feet, and he's got his uniform on with his number and everything.
Are you sure they have to?
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, that's why you know who never wore their shirt and still doesn't. I don't know. What's his face? He was the Yankee manager. He was the Washington Senators manager. He was Arizona Diamondbacks manager. What the hell's his name? Buck Showalter. It could be 95 degrees in the middle of summer, and he always wore the jacket, like the warm-up jacket, because he did not. He said he hated the fact that they made him wear a uniform. But the ball boys all wear a uniform. all the coaches, bench coach, whether you're on the field or not, you wear a uniform. And you wear the actual uniform. It's not a version of it. It's the actual. Only the trainers do not have to wear a uniform. And that is the stupidest rule in baseball.
Yeah, I'm still saying pass ball still gets first base. I think it's pretty good. It's like, oh, you struck out. Oh, but the catcher dropped the ball, so you get to try to run to first. What?
Yeah.
Just like,
yes, sir.
just why?
Okay, so wait. So if you're going to make that's a stupid rule. So how about the you foul tip the ball back into the catcher's mitt, but unless it was higher than the catcher's head, it's not an out unless it's the third strike. Is that not a foul tip, regardless?
That I can understand though.
Why?
Why?
Why? What's the difference?
Because it's very commonplace. You'd have outs all the time. Did you know that I forget what the guy's name is, but he was a coach in the NHL, and he was this guy that basically I watched a video about him, and he was like the biggest. He was the guy. He was Mr. Loophole. He found all these loopholes. His name was like George something, and he would find. He's in the Hall of Fame for leadership and innovation, basically because he would find all these loopholes in the hockey rules and he'd use them to his advantage. Like one of the things was if you had too many men on the ice, they would it was some sort of weird rule where it was like they would penalize you. One of the extra players that was on the ice would have to go to the penalty box, but they wouldn't like stop the clock during the penalty. Like it was, so he would do it all the time to run time off the clock. And so then it'd be like, okay, one of these guys has got to go in the penalty box, and he'd be like, oh, which one's gonna go? And he would just so he would in close games he would get time run out. When he would pull the goalie. He would tell the goalie to get the extra
Roger Nielsen you're talking about.
Yeah, he would tell the goalie to leave his hockey stick in front of the goal. And it was just and then they're like, well, you can't do that. He's like, there's no rule against it. Look, there's no rule. He can leave his hockey stick right there. He's gonna come back and get it here in just a little bit, And it was so they had to change the rule that it said when the goalie leaves the ice, he cannot leave his stick, his pads, his mask, his gear, a mound of snow. It was just they said the rule sounds like it was something that every single time there was you can't leave the stick anymore. Okay, leave your pads there. Okay, you can't leave the pads there anymore. Roger, stop it. Just but he sounds like he was the worst guy to ever play board games with. It's well, it's not in the rules.
Yeah, Roger Nielsen. He was the Rangers head coach for a while, and Vancouver's head coach.
It's not in the rules. So you can do it.
He would purposely put too many men on the ice every 10 seconds.
because it was not against the rules.
And then when they did penalty shots, he would put a defenseman.
And have him go right at the guy. Because there wasn't a rule that said that you had to use a goalie, so he put a defenseman.
And there wasn't a rule that they had to stay in the net. So
as soon as he dropped the puck, the defenseman would just race right at the guy and knock him down and steal the puck from him. Like I said, it was just I was watching that. I was he would be that guy playing against him, and you'd just be losing your mind. It's you can't do that. Stop it. Yeah, yeah. But he's in the Hall of Fame, and he was a good coach too. He was a really good coach too.
Yeah, he was also famous for he'd always pull the goalie at the end of a period if the face-off was in the other end. If it was 5 seconds left, and you had that stupid okay, there's 3 seconds left, but we had an icing, so we have to do the face off.
Right.
They do the face-off. He'd pull the goaltender to hopefully get one shot on goal. Like first period, second period, it didn't matter.
Yes. Are you reading his Wikipedia thing?
No, you said it. I was trying to think of. I'm like,
No, because it says here, Nielsen was well known for closely reading the rulebook, looking to exploit loopholes. During one particular game in his first season coaching the Peets, he was down 2 men on a 5-3 situation for the last minute of the game. Realizing that more penalties could not be served in the existing rules, Nielsen put too many men on the ice every 10 seconds. The referee stopped the play and the faceoff was held, relieving pressure on the defense. In addition, Nielsen also took advantage of fans throwing objects on the ice to deliberately cause stoppages of play late in the game. After these displays, the rules were changed so that a call for too many men on the ice on a 5-3 situation, or a delay of game penalty on a 5-3 situation, or any deliberate act to stop play in the last 2 minutes of regulation overtime now results in a penalty shot. Nielsen also discovered that if he put a defenseman in net instead of a goal during the penalty shot, the defenseman could rush the attacker and cut down the latter's angle of shot, greatly reducing the chances of a goal. He used this between Nielsen's Peterborough Peets and the opposing Toronto Marlboros. Nielsen replaced Pete's goaltender Pete Kostick with defenseman Ron Stackhouse. Then they changed that one. One time during a timeout, Nielsen told his goaltender, "When we pull you, just leave your goal stick lying in the crease." They sent the puck the length of the ice toward the open net, only to deflect wide when it hit the goal stick lying in the crease. The rule was changed next season so the goal could be awarded in such a situation. Nielsen also broke the rules, in a sense, when he didn't like what was happening on the ice. As the Canucks coach during Game 2 of the 1982 Campbell Conference final playoff game against the Chicago Blackhawks, he felt his team was unfairly penalized on several occasions during the third period. He took a traitor's white towel and held it on a hockey stick as if to wave a white flag. 3 other Canucks players did the same thing. All were ejected from the game. By doing this, Nielsen inadvertently started an NHL tradition of Canucks fans waving white towels by the thousands at the next game, a playoff tradition that continues to this day. Well, he's in the Hall of Fame. May he rest in peace. Sounds like he was a pretty awesome dude. Sounds like he'd be like that Clear Claw guy playing him in any game. Impossible. Well, I'm going to keep track of all the information here, because if you were super smart and able to like remember everything, that would be an unfair advantage. So I'm going to write down every single point that you get, even though it's like this is a secret point game.
I remember seeing an Islander game once, and they had a 3-on-0 going. Like the play got busted up. 2 guys fell into each other. Another guy lost his edge, and there was 3 guys on the goaltender. The goaltender turned around and just took the net off the moorings.
Oh, I've seen that before too.
And the thing was, because you get a penalty shot if you do it, and he'd rather get the penalty shot from one person than 3 guys coming down on him, because there was no way he was able to stop it.
Whenever I think of like empty net goals and things like that, I remember Shane Churla was a and I'm going to apologize for the naughty words here in a second, but Shane Churla was the goon for the Minnesota North Stars for years. Guy had maybe a handful of goals in his entire life. He's playing garbage time minutes, and they put the enforcer on so nobody was gonna like pick on the players or take cheap shots or anything like that. So they put this this gorilla on skates and on the ice. They're up, North Stars are up 5-3 or something like that, and they pull their goalie. And of all people in the world, Shane Churla has the puck, and he's got the empty goal like right in front of him. And 40 seconds to go or something like that, and he holds on to the puck until the last possible second, and then he dumps it into the corner. Doesn't take the easy shot, and so they win the game. And afterwards, they ask him, "It's like, well, why didn't you take the goal? You don't get a chance to score many goals. Why didn't you take it?" And he said, "Empty net goals are for pussies." That's just Live TV. Just classic. But there you go. It is weird that we still have a game where it is perfectly legitimate that you have people on the ice that their job is to beat other people up. Even though now it's much less than it used to be.
Yeah, it is. A lot less.
Well, everybody's so fast and quick. You know, you can't waste a spot on a guy that's basically there just to pound on people. You can't do that anymore. Which is fine. They should probably get away from beating people up, even if it is a time-honored tradition. But I don't know. Barry, yeah, it was good seeing you again, man.
Yeah.
Whoever moved the rock, I'm sure glad they did.
Like I said, I've been physically, I can't do a lot of the shit I've been doing, so I'll be down for a couple of days.
Oh yeah.
Like the door I put up with my nephew, used to take me 4 hours. It took me 2 days. Yeah.
Was it a pre-hung door?
Yeah, it was.
It was I mean, obviously the pre-hung stuff is pretty easy. My wife's got in her head that we're gonna replace like one of our closet doors. It's one of the the folding door thing,
Yeah.
She wants it just to be a normal door. And it's like I got a special order a door for the spot and just the whole process. I'm just like, oh, I gotta take out what's there and put in the other one. I don't know. It should be done. It'll look nice, but
This one I had a lot of shit was fucked up. Like the headers were set in wrong, and the old door was 3 inches below grade, so I had to remove the header and jack it up a few inches and put the headers in right. So, but like I said, I got my nephew down here on the weekends doing stuff, so yeah, keep him out of trouble and
put him to work.
Yeah, free labor. I had him do some electric last weekend and the door this weekend. Then windows. I got to replace every window in this house. Oh, I think it's 15 of them. And none of them are fucking the standard size. But
yeah.
So that'll be fun. A lot of cutting and shit. Yeah. But like I said, it's just physically, I do it and it wipes me out. After like 4 hours of work, I'm just wiped out.
We'll get some sleep.
Oh, I have been. That's why I haven't been on. I've been falling asleep. It feels good to be doing shit again. I do miss contracting carpentry. I always have. But, even when I was working on the trains. It's a sense of accomplishment. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, the shop will be completely done. And I'll show them some wood turning and all that. I'm still trying to break them with the nervousness with the tools. In a sense, it's a good thing, but he's a little too nervous.
Just give it a little tappy tap.
Oh no, like
Little tappy tap tap.
yeah. I had him cutting a 2x4 with a circular saw, and it took him 5 minutes to go through this because he's just so nervous and uptight. I was like, dude, just cut through it. Keep the guides and the line and the guides and go. But he inched it across it, which is a good thing. You get cocky, you get hurt, but kind of reverse too. Yeah.
Little taparoo.
And like I said, the garden and the shore. I got the shore opened up.
I have yet to use my airbrush.
You did get one.
Yeah.
You got the same one I told you?
Yeah. Just sitting in the box.
Could you use one of them on the regular compressor if you jack the PSI down?
Yeah.
So what are they, like 40 or 20?
They'll work with different ones. You'll have to probably tune it down a lot.
Okay.
The problem with that is you need to get the regulator.
Yeah.
For the end of the thing. So you
For
gotta get, you basically get a restrictor plate for it.
Okay.
But yeah, no,
Alright.
you can. I mean, how big is your air compressor?
I got a little pancake one.
Oh,
and
a
then I got
20-gallon pancake one?
Nah, it's maybe 5 gallon.
Oh,
And then I
okay.
got a 30-gallon.
Yeah, no, it'll work with that. On the small pancake one you have.
Yeah.
Without no changes necessary.
All right. Yeah, I thought about looking into it. I'm looking into one for the house. I don't know if I'm going to go with the air or just an electrical one, but I'm not painting this whole house by hand. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we should probably go to bed.
All right.
Blah. Thanks everybody for paying attention, being part of our fun, and being part of the awesomeness. Sorry about last week and missing it, though. Yeah, I was sick, so there's that.
Yeah, know what we missed out on because you were sick.
Yeah, I wasn't nearly as angry as I thought I would be tonight.
No, but the guy from the Orc Stabber thing was going to come on.
Really?
Yes, I found out who it is.
Who is
I
it?
actually know who it is. I don't know if you ever seen the Sandy Pug Games Twitter account.
No.
It's them who did that, and that thing like made like literally it's like $1,200, $1,400 it made. So I'm very happy for them. It was pretty funny, but
Orc Stabber.
yeah.
Good
Because
for
the
them.
week before we were talking about it when you weren't on. We were talking. I'm sorry, you weren't. You were on, but you weren't on, and we were
Yeah.
talking about it. And I said, "Wow, it'd be so cool if we could find this guy and have him on the show." And then next day, I found out who it was. And I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Nice. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. That was yeah, that was everybody. Oh, and also I was gonna say this to loyal boomers. If you think the January 13th date will work for you, take a look at it, and as soon as I have like definitive, it sounds like the hotel rooms will be relatively cheap. I can get a decent group rate. Like we're talking like between $50 to $65 a night. So
That is cheap.
don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But it sounds like it'll be relatively cheap. And if we do like a, fly in Thursday and Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal, I think it'll work out pretty well. My local game store owner, he wants to sponsor it as far as paying for like the banquet room and everything like that, and just to help out. So it sounds like it would be like a pretty inexpensive way for us all to get together and play board games in the middle of the winter.
How many people would you anticipate?
Well, I mean, there's enough local people like my friends and what have you.
I don't want your friends. You play with them anytime.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, there's still people that like are my buddies. I mean, I could get 30 of them easy, but I mean, I'm more like trying to see who I could get. Like worldly people or whatever. See, that's the weird thing is like, how do I short of like literally like reaching out one by one to people, like how do I like gauge interest? Maybe it's something I'll have to just talk to people about at Origins, and just and then come up with a list, and then come up with a definitive like who can make it kind of thing, and just go from there. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
All right.
One way or to other.
No juggalos.
It'll work. Oh, it was gonna be all juggalos. And now I gotta change that. So all right. It's like 1:00 in the morning. We talked forever. Yeah. If you want to hear about my crazy last D&D campaign and like kind of like get the real basic plot of the entire thing in 90 minutes, you can go watch that video on my channel. I'm kind of interested to see what kind of response I get for that.
All right.
It would be something you'd listen to at work in the background or something, I'm guessing. So, but adios, gentlemen. I will talk at most of you at some time or another in the near future.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.